welcome. I am so excited to have all of you here today. So in case you're new here, I'm Abigail, and in the past 2 years, I have created over 11 different digital product offers that have led to $1 million in revenue in 15 months, which still feels wild to even say that. I've switched personal brand ideas 4 times. Now, this is why I'm saying in the past 2 years, because we're going to talk about it a little bit today, kind of what I dwindled in and to put my toes in before I ultimately found, my personal brand and what I wanted to be known for and what I wanted to do. So, 4 different personal brand and ideas. So one of them was like motherhood and sharing ways for kids to get natural food in. And in a little bit, I will show you like a screenshot of that page. Like I went all out. I have all these posts. I had all these cover images. I took it very seriously. And then another one was Reels. I actually owned the domain and started to work on getting like the trademarks and everything for In the Real World, spelled with REEL, because I'd been doing content for other brands. I'd never done it for myself, but I'd done it for other brands for like 5 years. And I was like, well, maybe I'm passionate about Reels. So I started In the Real World. And that's actually what my current brand, Abigail Pugh, started as. That was the page that I had started at. And I think I had like maybe 900 followers when I decided to make it my name instead and go like the personal branding route, not the business name route. And then UGC was the first thing I talked about, right? That's how I got my start. And then eventually digital products, right? So I did not just wake up one day and decide, hey, this is my $1 million brand. I'm going to build this and I know exactly what I'm going to do. That's not usually how things happen. So don't feel discouraged if that is part of your journey as well. And last but not least, built my $1 million offer suite by trial and error. I think a lot of people think that people who are successful start off with all their offers being amazing and everything being perfect. I've had offers. I launched one last year that nobody bought. And I kind of had to just pivot and realize that's not what my audience wanted to learn from me, and not take it personally. I mean, what if I had said, oh, wow, nobody bought this offer. I'm done for. I'm never going to make it in life, right? Like, that's just not the attitude you need to have when you're building your $1 million offer suite. So know that failure is going to happen. Trial and error is very important as you are doing this. So yeah, let's get into it. A few other random things about me. I've never held a conventional job in my life other than working at Allstate when I was 17, I think. And I worked there for, I want to say, like 6 months. And I decided at that time, it's like, I could never work a regular job. Like sitting at a desk all day, I was miserable. And it's so funny. I was literally taking all their filing cabinet and scanning it to be digital. That was my job. So every day I came in and I did the exact same thing. And I so vividly remember thinking, I have to do something else in life. Like I will rot if I have to sit in an office the rest of the life. So that was kind of like the beginning of never working conventional jobs. Wow. Hold on a sec. Whew. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm back. So no conventional jobs for me. After that, I was a nanny. I was a floral designer. I was a assistant. I was a house manager, like all these things. I just always knew that doing a desk job where it was the same thing for the rest of my life was never something that I could do. I love to people watch. My daughter does as well. When we go to public places, she will just ask to like sit on a bench and watch people. And I love it. It's so much fun to just see how people interact. And I'm very introverted. So it's very fun for me to see other people interacting without me having to do it. And I think that's why I'm really good at social media, is because I love to watch and see why people are doing things, right? Like I can never just watch something on a surface level. When I'm watching a video, I'm thinking, okay, this went viral for this reason. People responded for this reason. Like my brain is just always thinking. And 32 years of people watching really helps you learn how to figure people out. I'm a Harry Potter enthusiast. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that we just finished our yearly series watch of all the Harry Potter movies, and I'm devastated that it's over. I hate ketchup and fish. I will not eat or touch either of them. We don't even keep ketchup in the house, and my daughter doesn't even know what it is. I love proving people wrong. when I first got started on Abigail Pugh, like my brand, I worked with someone that told me that the only way I could hit $1 million in revenue is if I had like a high ticket $10,000 offer. And you better believe I was dead set on proving her wrong. I didn't want to have a $10,000 offer. I wanted to reach more people. And I know that 9,000 people, which I've had over 9,000 students now, which is crazy, can't afford a $10,000 offer. And that's not what I wanted. So it was really, really, really fun to prove her wrong. And I know she's just doing her job, you know, like she thinks that's the only way to hit $1 million in revenue. And that's great. I don't think that. And I'm very happy that I proved that wrong. Last but not least, I have a degree in sociology that I have technically never used. I used it on a resume to get a nannying job, but all they cared about was that I had my degree. So I do think that sociology really, the actual degree in my classes helped me learn people more, but I honestly think I was kind of born with that, I don't know if you want to call it gift. I was born with the gift of understanding people and reading people. And I remember when I was taking my sociology classes, I literally didn't have to study except for calculus. There was a sociology calculus thing we had to take, and that was miserable. But all the other things were like common sense to my brain. And that's when I realized that I wanted to somehow work in the world of helping people and using people's, interactions to, I don't know, work, right? And now it's so cool to see that all of that like makes sense in what I'm good at now and like what I've discovered. That's my true passion. But also it took me 32 years to get here. It took me 32 years to figure something out that I love and that I wake up excited every single damn day to do. And it is worth the wait. It is worth finding what you are passionate about, finding what you literally wake up excited to do every single day. It's worth the trial and error. And I think a lot of people want to just know immediately, but like all my years of everything I've done have played into this so much. And I'm so much better off now having had all the experience and finding like my perfect little sweet spot for what I was put on this earth to do. So what are you guys going to learn today? First and foremost, we're going to talk about how to very clearly define your niche and make sure it is profitable. And I say make sure, I mean, at the end of the day, there's no way to 100% know if what you're creating is profitable. You can have, you can be 99% sure that you're creating something profitable, but if your marketing is off, you might have to tweak that, right? So take that with a grain of salt. You can do all the research and it is highly beneficial to do the research, but there is still going to be some trial and error when you are selling the actual product. Next, why personal branding is important when selling a digital products. Now, this one we're not going to go super deep into, but personal branding, in my opinion, is a huge reason that I've been so successful with my digital products. And we're going to talk about why. Next, how to create digital product offers that actually sell, right? And actually get your students results. I think that's the biggest thing for me at the end of the day is that, yes, I want my product to sell, but I also want people to actually get results from it. And there's a lot of very simple things you can do that make it so that they get results. Next, what to actually include in your digital products. I know this is a big holdup for a lot of people. And once you create your first one, it's a lot easier to kind of have the roadmap for the next one. But we're going to walk through that and then how to start building your $1 million digital product offer suite, which your offer suite, I'm going to use that terminology a few times today. So your offer suite is literally just all the things that you offer in your stand store or wherever you are selling from. I sell from a stand store, so that is where my offer suite is located. Now, a quick disclaimer, everything I'm teaching today is in regards to selling lower ticket digital products and building a personal brand around that. So you might have heard like conflicting information about certain things, and that's fine, right? Like everyone has different opinions. The angle that I am teaching you from is from using a personal brand to sell a digital product. If you are selling a physical product, it's going to be a little bit different. If you are trying to land speaking gigs, it's going to be a little bit different, right? Like this is very much so geared towards this. And then you're able to take what you want from it and then add other things later. But everything I'm teaching you is in regards to digital products and your personal brand. It's also based on trial and error from myself and many of my students in the past 16 months. So these things that I'm talking about, they are tried and true and tested over and over again. So First thing we're going to talk about is profitable niches or niches. I never know how to say it. People say it either way. I say niches. First of all, what is a niche? When it comes to selling a digital product, I want you to think of your niche as the problem that you solve for people, not the person you solve it for. So if someone asks you your niche and you give a very broad thing and then or a very broad niche, and then you give the description of the person, right? They have blonde hair, they're a mom, they're 32. That's not your niche. Your niche is the problem that you are solving for people. And I really want you to wrap your head around that, because yes, you need to know who you're selling to, but that's not your niche. Your niche is the actual problem that you solve for people. For example, motherhood, that's not a niche. And I know that people use the word niche very willy-nilly. And even sometimes I say my niche is this, and that's not really my niche. It's more like the category for that I'm in, right? But motherhood is not a niche. Teaching moms how to homeschool their kids with XYZ type or style of homeschooling, something that is a niche, in my opinion, right? That is a problem that you are solving for people. And when you create your digital products in that way, it is so much easier to create content and to sell it when you know the problem that you are solving for people. Now, your personal brand can be centered around a broader topic like motherhood, right? So if you are a mom and you want to teach people how to homeschool, but a lot of your topic or a lot of your content is around motherhood, that's totally normal, right? And then your niche needs to hone in on the problem that you solve for people. So I know that there's someone, one of my students, she is a mom, she does mom content, but her digital product is around homesteading and things like that. There's multiple homesteaders actually that are my students, but so she dives more into that realm, right? So she's talking about homesteading through the lens of her problem that she solves for parents, right? And motherhood. So I want you to make sure that you kind of have your broader topic, which is most people what they call a niche, right? And then the problem that you solve for people, because when you know the problem that you solve for people, it becomes so much more clear what you need to actually put into your offers. So next, choosing your niche is not something random. And I think social media has made it seem like, okay, here's a list of profitable niches and just choose one, right? It is not a random thing. Your niche needs to be something that you have a personal experience with, or something you're willing to learn and document that experience from, right? I see so many reels that are, 25 digital products that'll make you $100 a day. And it's so frustrating because half of these things, I know they're not making people $100 a day. But also people are trying to sell something that they have no connection to. And when you're selling on social media, in my opinion, you need a connection. Now, Etsy is different. I am not referring to Etsy at all. That is a whole different ballgame. But I am referring to social media and selling something on social media. And in my opinion, if you have no personal experience with it and it's just completely random and you just chose it because, well, someone told me this was profitable and I Googled it and a lot of people want to know about it, you're not going to get as far as if you choose something that you are actually passionate about and wake up excited to talk about. Because again, this is something that you're going to be talking about in your content every single day. If you're not passionate about it, you don't have any experience, you're not willing to learn and document it, you're literally going to have no content, and your content is going to look like everybody else's on the internet. And we do not want that. So last but not least for this, don't try to teach a lesson you have not learned yourself. When you are showing up on social media and you are teaching people how to do something that you have not learned how to do, it doesn't come off well. People don't want that, right? If there's a mom who is teaching me, she's had really hard breastfeeding journeys and I, want to learn how to breastfeed properly and it's not working and I need help, I'm going to choose the mom who's had problems with it or is certified in it. Either or, I think both are great, over someone who's hey, I know nothing about this, but I'm really passionate about nursing. So I'm just going to start teaching people on it and pretend that I'm an expert or pretend that I've learned about it, right? It doesn't make sense. You have to learn the lesson first before you teach people. Now, I get pushback on this when I talk about it online because people are well, hey, I want to learn something new. great. By all means, learn something new, document your journey. Do not pretend you are an expert. Do not pretend that you know everything. Do not regurgitate content from other people out there. No, you need to share your journey, share what you're going through, what you're learning. And then at the end of that journey, if you want to say, hey, I've learned so much during this and I've just learned so many things and applied them and I love it. And now I want to teach you. That makes logical sense to me, right? That's what I've done with digital products. Last year, I was not an expert in digital products. And I don't even know if I could call myself an expert now, right? I'm really good at what I do, but I've also learned so much from 10 years of doing other jobs that play into this, right? But I literally from day one shared my journey. One of my products in the 11 products that I've launched in the last 2 years, 15 months, was literally, what was it? 40K in 90 days. I did a $9 masterclass where I literally just walked people through exactly what I did to launch my digital product and make $40,000 from it in 90 days, right? And that showed me people were so interested in what I was doing. That was the reason I then created my digital product starter kit after that, because so many people were asking questions that I was like, well, I thought this was common knowledge. No, but I took them along for the journey first, instead of just launching a digital product one day and then the next day, wow, I'm an expert at this, I'm going to teach you everything. No, I took them along for the journey. Now, this is a little niche exercise that this is why you need your pen and paper. You are not going to actually do this right now. I just want you to jot it down so that when we are done with the call today, you can go back and do it. This is something that I want you to kind of sit with. If you already know your niche, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. It might help you kind of narrow things down even more within your niche. But again, if you already know your niche and you don't want to do this, you totally don't have to. So grab your pen and paper, and I want you to write some columns. When I send out the replay, I'll have just like a little thing from Canva if you want to print it out and have it look nicer. I'm someone that I just have to write things. So write this out. And then in one column, the first one, I want you to write down your passions, things that you are passionate about, that you love talking about, that you love, right? And the next one, your qualifications. So if you have degrees, certifications, anything like that, if you don't, no problem. I know a lot of very successful people that have no degree, have no certifications or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with not having that, but if you do have it, and it also lines up with a passion, I just want you to like see that connection there. And then last but not least, personal experiences. So things that you've gone through that you love talking about, that you want to share with the world, that you feel comfortable sharing. For example, when my daughter was little, she had really bad eczema, and we ended up healing her eczema. We went the route of healing from the inside out. And that was my thought for the page that I was going to do around motherhood, was talking about foods that you're healing for, or foods that kids are eating to heal their gut and to help with eczema, right? So I tested it out for a little bit, and then I realized, hey, like, I don't want to talk about eczema and kid food for the rest of my life, right? I didn't want to create a brand that like needed my daughter at the forefront and things that she was eating, right? Like I wanted a little bit of separation, but I never would have known like if that was my passion or not, if I hadn't just gone for it and tested it and see if I wanted to try it. So write out some personal experiences that you would feel comfortable talking about. And like I said, I will send something in the replay for you to actually do this with a little bit more for you to print out if you want. So you don't have to do it now. Just draw the thing right now for this page so that you have it. And when we're done with the call, you can go do it if you want to. After that, I want you to write a list of all your ideas for the digital products and then sleep on it. Don't go into depth on them. Literally just write all the ideas that come to your brain. I think sometimes we're so focused on coming up with the perfect idea right away that we just sit and think way too hard. Literally anything that comes to your brain, write it down. I don't care if in 5 seconds you think it's a bad idea. You never know. Write it down. Then the next morning, I want you to pick 3 of those ideas and you're going to research those ones, right? We're not going to research all 27 ideas that you have. And I think it's important to do the soul searching in your head first before the research and before looking at competitors, all of that, because sometimes it's really easy to do the research online and see competitors, and then all your brain can think of is what competitors are doing, right? It is important to look at that stuff, but not first, right? You have to kind of get in your brain and see what it is that you want to talk about. And then you're going to write down the problem that your digital product idea will solve and the outcome it will bring to people. If your niche now If you can't write that down, you need to do this exercise. You need to know exactly what problem that your digital product is solving for people and the outcome it will give them if you want to properly market it down the line, right? This training is not going into marketing, but if you don't know that, you're going to have a really hard time marketing your products. And then I want you to think, is that something you would have wanted or needed in the beginning of your journey? And this is one of the most important parts, is going back to where you started and the mindset you were in as a beginner. Every single digital product I create, I do this. I go back to my early days and think, wow, what would I have wanted in the beginning, right? Like, what would have been the most helpful for me? And it does take a little bit of work, because once you're in your journey, like, you're thinking where you're at now. But when you're creating these products, you need to think back to the beginning days. You need to think what you felt then, what you needed the most support in, right? That's one of the reasons I created Rich Girl Reels the way I did with the challenge, because so many people with Reels especially, and this is what I did at the beginning, is like, I would learn something and then never do it. And I was like, well, great, I need to test this out. So having the accountability after they learn something so that they're actually applying it, right? I created the product that I wish I would have had at the beginning of creating Reels. And it took me going back to my early days and thinking, what in the heck did I need when I first started doing this? And how can I help my clients with this now? So again, this is not something you're going to do right now. I will send this in the replay with you and have a little printable for you guys if you want to print that out and do it. After you do all of that, you're going to determine the profitability. And I will say this until I'm dead. Research is what helps you know that your product can sell, right? And two of my favorite ways to do this are wordstream.com and social media. Now, I've gotten a lot of people, I teach WordStream and how to do it inside my digital product starter kit. And I have a lot of people come and say, hey, like, this is not giving me the results I want, because I believe it's over 25,000 searches for the keywords that I say. I have to go back, and I'm pretty sure it's 25,000. You want people searching your keywords, and you want to make sure that those are something that people want to learn about, but it's not the end all be all, right? And I think social media is honestly more telling in this. I do think it's important to look and see on WordStream still, but we are going to, oops, hold on. We're going to exit out of that really quick, and I'm going to show you how I would do it, right? Okay, so for WordStream, let's see who I can see here. Is anyone's camera? Amber, can you see my, what is this called? My internet page? Why can't I think of what this is? Okay, so wordstream.com. I will link this in the replay for you guys as well. When I am doing my research for this, you're going to go to the free tools. They have a free keyword tool. I would search there. And I want to show you guys what I mean. So content creation is a huge part of what I teach, right? And that is a keyword that I probably would have searched if I had done this with my last few products, right? Now I create my offers based on what my audience wants, but in the beginning, the research is really important. So I might search content creator, right? Okay, so content creator, all industries, continue. I'm going to do it where I live, which is in the United States. It takes a little bit of a second. Okay, so content creator has good views. That's funny, OnlyFans creators, right? So that has decent amount of views, right? But social media content creator only has 4,400 volume searches per month, right? And I might, if I'm doing just this research, I might think, oh, wow, like not a lot of people want that. But then when I go to social media, so I like TikTok to do my research on the social media side, content creator. So we're kind of going to see what pops up. So content creator tips maybe, right? Like these views are wild. 1.1 million, 26K, 1.7 million. Like this tells me that people want to become content creators, right? And when you're doing both, you're able to kind of get a broader picture. I think TikTok is probably one of my favorite places to research things because it will kind of give you pop-ups for what you should be searching, right? So let's do digital products. Let's see what comes up for that. Digital products to sell for beginners, right? So if I were doing market research, I would search digital product for beginners and go see like, what are people interacting with? I would go to these really, you know, viral videos and say, okay, what are the comments? What are people wanting to know? And then I'm like validating my digital product idea with social media, because in my opinion, I think there's more people on social media than Googling right now. I'm almost positive TikTok had more people searching things on TikTok than on Google, which is wild, right? But this just goes to show that like word stream, don't get discouraged if you do the word stream research and then nothing comes up or it's low, right? I believe, like I said, it's 25,000 searches on WordStream that you want your keywords to come up per month, right? That's like a good amount of people searching that thing. And I would say even if it's like 15 to 20,000, right? I wouldn't get discouraged like that. I would then go look on social media instead and just make sure that it's something that people want. And when you're doing it on social media, like I said, go look at those comments, see what people are saying. And this will not only help with your offer creation, but it will also help with your content ideas. Sometimes I literally get the best ideas just by reading comments on viral TikTok videos for people asking for things. Where in my head, I'm like, why would they need to know that? And then there's like 800 people asking the same question. That's how I've created my first offer. I got started on TikTok, and every single day I had probably 50 comments from people saying, how do you get started as a YouTube creator? How do I get started as a YouTube creator? What do I do? How do I start? How do I start? How do I start? So I knew that I needed to create something that was beginner, how to get started, all the resources that they needed at the beginning. In my head, I didn't think people needed that. I thought it was common knowledge, right? But that really helped me create an offer that they needed first. So social media is kind of my end all decision maker when I am creating something. Now, like I said before, this process of doing the research is mainly for your first digital product, when you're really trying to figure out what to sell, when you're trying to figure out like which direction to take. After that, you're going to listen to your audience to create your products. Every single product that I've created after my digital product starter kit has been based on what my audience needs, right? And they kind of, you'll see in a minute when we talk about offer suites, they stack on each other, right? My offers all go together. They make sense together, but I've created each one based on what people are asking for. Like I don't do this research anymore, and all of my products sell, apart from my email one that flopped. All of my products sell relatively well because I know that's what my audience is asking for. And I've built trust with people. They trust pretty much every offer that comes out now, but I listen to what people say very, very closely. I also had 3 different Instagram accounts in 2021, like I said, testing things out to see what I liked and what I wanted to build that personal brand around. So again, I didn't just wake up and know all of this. I tested things and I took the time to test it. These are screenshots from the other accounts that I created. I'm telling you, I went all out. Like I chose brand colors. I decided on cover images, and I went really hard and really had to figure out like what I was passionate about, what I wanted to show up and do every day. Because at the end of the day, you have to make a decision with your niche and you have to move forward with it. And I say that with all the love in the world. Stop sitting on things. Stop sitting on an idea and wondering if it's going to work. I get so many DMs per day from people saying, I need help. Like, I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm like, test it, see if it works, right? Like I literally spent a few months on each Instagram just testing it, seeing if it was something I was passionate about, right? Because I knew I wanted to do something and like do more in the world and offer people something and impact people's lives. But I didn't know what I wanted to do for a long period of time, right? I just knew like, hey, okay, I know I want to do this, but what do I do? Because at the end of the day, learning is never a waste of time. And I think a lot of people see me trying those other niches on Instagram as a waste of time. Like, oh, well, you wasted 2 months on this Instagram and you're never going to use it. No, I did not. I learned so much in those 2 months and I took it and I applied it to the next thing I did. So learning is never a waste of time. Now, we're going to talk about personal branding real quick. This is not super in depth because this is a whole thing on its own, but personal branding in relation to creating your digital product offers, and why I think it is superior to creating something that is more of just a regular brand and not a personal brand. So in my opinion, personal branding gives you the freedom to solve multiple problems down the line for your community, right? It leaves the door open to other things that you want to do. By me choosing Abigail Pugh as my business name and building a brand around me and what I'm passionate about and being authentic and just showing up as myself. I mean, you guys, I'm filming a live training in a sweatshirt, and I filmed every single live training in sweatshirts or like a cozy cotton shirt. Like that is who I am, right? And I built my business around myself and my personal brand and what I like and what I enjoy, not the other way around. And I love that about personal branding. I love that I can show up as my true no makeup self. I mean, today I have a little bit of mascara on, but I love that I was able to create something that people can resonate with, but also that like I can just show up as me every single day. Now, your personal branding, it's not your colors, it's not your logo, it's not the fonts you choose, it's how you humanize yourself, right? It's how you connect with your audience, and connection is the first step to making a sale. And personal branding allows you to do that. It allows you to get personal. For instance, the other day when I shared that we were watching Harry Potter, I did a little slider at the bottom and asked people, who's a Potterhead? Now, if you don't read or watch Harry Potter, you have no idea what a Potterhead is. You're like, what is she talking about? If you do, you're instantly thinking, okay, dude, I like this girl even more. She loves Harry Potter. The amount of DMs I got from that it was so many, from something that is just like so personal to me. And I love that personal branding like allows me to connect in such just a natural way. Like I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, had so many conversations about it the past few days, and I love it. I live for this. It is just so fun for me. And personal branding allows you to do that. It makes connecting with people easier, in my opinion. And like I said, connection is the first step to making a sale. Personal branding also, this is probably the main reason I love it, gives you flexibility with what you are selling. So when you build a personal brand, you have way more flexibility when it comes to building out your offer suite. You aren't tied to just the problem you solve, and you can branch out to other things if you want eventually. I will say when you first get started, it's important to start with one problem that you solve and then see the natural progression of what your audience needs help with next. But when you're doing a personal brand, instead of like a business name or something that's very specific to only one thing, it gives you that flexibility down the line. And I really love that because I'm very multi-passionate, as you can tell. And it's really allowed me to kind of go into what I'm passionate about, right? And when I first got started, I knew my passion was in this field, right? But like truly right now, the selling side, like selling the actual digital products, it lights me up. I love it. And if I had, just focused on like creating digital products and I built a whole brand just on one thing, like I probably couldn't have easily branched out to what I branched out to. And I love it. Like it lights me up to teach people how to take their story and sell their offer with their story. And having a personal brand allows me to do that, right? Like it's all under my name. It's all under me and the things that I am passionate about. For example, Abigail Pugh is my personal brand right now, right? In the real world was the other Reels business that I like bought the domain for, everything. I'm like a serial domain buyer. I have so many so many domain names that I've bought overnight because I'm like, oh, I love this idea and I don't want anybody else to take it. So I grabbed In the Real World and I loved it. I thought it was so clever and fun. And then the more I built that page, the more I realized, oh, I don't really just want to talk about reels for the rest of my life. I love them. I know how to create good reels. I know how to create content that converts, but I don't want to just talk about reels. So I have so much more flexibility in my brand and with what I want to sell because I went the personal brand route. Next, we are going to talk about creating your digital products that will actually sell. And like I said before, these are simple things, but they go a really, really long way. So the first thing and the biggest thing in my opinion is under promise and over deliver. I always, when I'm creating an offer, leave things off the sales page that is included just to blow people away, just to have them like excited, right? I want people to leave my offer feeling like they won the lottery, right? This helps a lot with customer retention as well, because if people buy your first offer and they love it, it is amazing, you under promise, you over deliver, then they're going to expect that on the next one, right? And they're going to come back because they're like, oh, I know this girl, she always comes through and like always has things that I love. So I'm going to come back for that. So under promising, over delivering. Number 2 is, this one is huge. You have to keep it tangible. In my opinion, the more tangible, the better. You have to give them daily or weekly wins and give them quick wins. So in my first digital product, which was my UGC starter kit, it was kind of like an encyclopedia style, right? It had chapters and it went through all these things. And the feedback I got when I first launched it was, we love this. This is amazing. There's so much information. What do we do with it? Like, I have no idea how to start. So then I updated it and I added more things to it. But on my second one, I decided, okay, I'm going to make this a 25-day thing, right? I'm going to make it very clear that like on this day, you learn this, and then this is what you need to do next, right? And the response I've gotten to that is amazing. People love that they have a tangible thing to do at the end of each day. And it doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be this like laundry list of things. There are some days when their homework is literally to like test something, right? It's not hard. It's super easy. It takes them 2 minutes, but they feel accomplished after that. They feel like, wow, I learned something new and I did something today. So the more tangible, the better. And even if it's just for enjoyment or just for like, hey, today I'm going to teach you how to do this. Tomorrow, I want you to do XYZ, right? Just something fun, right? You want them to have this like tangible outcome when they are doing or going through your digital products. Next is solving one problem at a time. So this is crucial when you're building your offer suite, in my opinion. It also helps students actually get results by not overwhelming them. So in a world of online courses being very popular, I have bought many online courses, but so many of them kind of give you surface level for like 7 problems, right? They're like, we're going to take you from A to Z, and it's all going to be surface level. I want your digital products to solve one problem and to go deep on it. I want it to solve it so well that they don't have questions when they're done. Or if they do, it's just about how to apply it, right? And I think that people need that right now. People need you to solve one problem at a time for them, because it's overwhelming when you have, 19 modules and each module has a 75-minute video and then 4 tasks to do after. No, like, teach me how to solve one thing at a time. Let me get really good at that. And then when I'm ready for the next one, I can come and get that one. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about digital products, low-ticket digital products that I love, is that like people can come to me when they need a certain thing, right? They don't necessarily have to buy everything at once. They can buy one thing, they'll get success from that. I build trust with them. They love it. I solve the problem. They're really good at it. And now they're like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. What do I do now? Number 4 is giving them a very, very clear outcome. You will notice that my marketing does this really well, in my opinion, at least. Maybe you don't agree. But I'm very clear on the outcome that I am selling for people, right? And they should know the outcome that they will possibly get, right? They have to put the work in by completing your digital product. You need to cut the fluff. It's your job to get them to their end goal as quick as possible. So every time I create an offer, when I'm done, I go in and I look for things like, hey, this is not important. Like, they literally don't need this information. Why am I including it? And I take stuff out because I don't want to waste their time with things that are not relevant. I want it to be so clear, and I want it to be so clear that when they are done, this is the outcome that they are most likely going to get. Now, we're going to talk about deciding what type of digital product you should create based on multiple different things, but there are types of digital products. So there are 5 types of digital products that I sell and that I have experience selling. I'm sure there's like other options out there, but the first one would be PDF guides, right? This was my first digital product that I ever launched. The next would be templates or presets. I've never done these things on their own, but I know they work for certain niches, right? So for, if you're doing something where you're like a mom, one of my students does templates for things for like your house and like taking care of your house and managing your house, or photography, you could do presets, right? Next would be live training and selling the recording after. So that's what my IG growth for sales was, my Rich Girl Reels. This class, right? It's a live training where we're here together. You have a Q&A at the end. Mini video courses. Obviously there's like full-blown courses, but the way I teach things and the way I market is definitely more focused on a little bit lower ticket. And last but not least would be one-on-one coaching sessions or masterminds. Now, you do not have to do all of these. Today, I'm going to talk about the benefits of each one and when to use them and when not to use them. But yeah, 4 things you need to consider before you decide what type of digital product to do. So first and foremost is your teaching preference and your special sauce, right? For me, I love live trainings. I love them. I love being able to answer questions. I love being live with people and being able to talk to everyone. It lights me up. If it makes you nervous, if it makes you want to barf, don't do live trainings, right? Like if that's not your special sauce, people are going to be able to feel that. I've gone to trainings before where the person is clearly not cut out to do live trainings, and no hate to them, no hate to people who are not good at live trainings. It's not for everybody. But if you're not good at something and you're not excited and passionate, like people will feel that, right? Like I've been to some where they're nervous the whole time. They're like shaky, their voice is cracking. They don't know how to click their slides. And the information is good, but the delivery is not. And if you can't deliver in a way that you feel good about, and that you know your audience will feel good, don't create that type of digital product. Next, what you are teaching. So there are certain things that I don't feel comfortable teaching in a PDF format. Instagram would be one of them. Reels would be another, right? Like I could never teach a Reels class without being able to either be live with them or have some sort of challenge with examples and all these things, right? So kind of knowing the best way people can learn from what it is that you are teaching, if that makes sense. The next thing to consider is the time it will take to complete it. So if you are a mom and you have young children that are loud and noisy and you don't have time where you could film something and you need quiet, maybe don't do a mini video course first. Maybe don't do a live training first, right? Those types of things you have to take into consideration. And then the last thing to consider would be whether or not you can make it evergreen to scale it. So whenever I'm creating an offer, I want to make sure that there's a way that I can, when I'm done creating it and launching it, I can put it on evergreen, which just means selling all the time, right? And something that I can scale. So that's something that I love about live trainings, is that I can do the recording. And then if I want to keep selling it, I can sell the recording of it and scale that, right? So now we're going to go a little bit in depth on each one. So the first one was the PDF guide, or an ebook. People call it both. This is great for your first digital product, especially if you're already super busy and you don't have tons of free time to create it, right? This is definitely one that you can create kind of in the little pockets of time. And it's not something that is going to take hours and hours and hours, right? And when I send out the replay to you guys will also get a sheet that will have like best practices for each one of these types of digital products that go a little bit more in depth. But yeah, I think PDF guide is one of the best places to start because it is a low barrier to entry. You learn a lot and you can still get people really great results from them. You just have to make sure that you are doing all the things we talked about earlier to make sure that they're actually getting results from it. Next is templates or presets. So these are great if you're wanting to get something up pretty quickly, if it makes sense within your niche, right? So think Google spreadsheets, Canva templates, Lightroom presets, things like that. Some examples of things that I've purchased for this. When I first got started on TikTok, I purchased like a TikTok example thing, and it was a spreadsheet, and she had all these examples of how you could take it and turn it into your own talking head TikTok video. And it was great because at the time I had no idea how to get started on TikTok. I was so confused. I really wanted like outlines for things that I could take and make my own. And she literally sold this spreadsheet, I think for like 47 bucks. Best 47 bucks I ever spent, right? So think of, things that maybe you're already using in your business that you could then turn around and turn into a template or a preset. I know most photographers already have Lightroom presets that they've created with their own style. You could turn around and sell those, right? A lot of people who are either in social media or design or things like that, we have these Canva templates that you've maybe created yourself. turn that into a digital product and you could sell that one. Now, I will say with these are not going to be, in my opinion, huge breadwinners. Unless this is all that you do and this is your main focus. These are usually kind of like a secondary thing that can help, and they're great as order bumps, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I would say don't expect to be making, hundreds of thousands of per month from these types of things. I think they're really great to start, and I think they're really great to eventually have as upsells. Now, I have seen some people who their whole brand is selling templates. I think there's one called, I think it's Your Social Team or Your Template Cub, something. I've been part of her membership before, and it was so cool. She had all these Canva templates, and you could easily, make them your own, but she releases new ones like every week, and it's a membership. So it's a lot of work on the back end for her. So something to think about when you are creating that, deciding if you want to have it as a membership. I don't think we're not going to go over memberships today because they're a lot more work than people think. And it's not something that I've used to build out my product suite. So I can't really speak to those, but next is live trainings like today's, or IG Go Through Sales, or Rich Girl Reels, or Rich Girl Stories. Those are all live trainings that I've done. These have become one of my favorite things for me because they get my students the best results. And the only thing I need to have done before launching is the sales page, right? Like when I first launched Rich Girl Reels, I had the sales page done. That was it. And you can launch with that, right? It's really cool with live trainings to also be able to listen to what people are asking. So for the weeks leading up to the first round of Rich Girl Reels and the first training and the first, the first challenge that we did, I was listening to what everybody wanted. And they were like, oh, is this going to be included? And I would think like, yeah, I could totally add that. Yeah, let's add that, right? So you're really able to make it this like mega perfect offer because they haven't seen it yet, right? They're essentially like pre-purchasing something, and then you can build it and make it amazing by the time you launch it. Bonus, if you want to add a live challenge to make it even better, I've noticed that has been super helpful for people because again, they're learning something and then they are applying it within a group setting. And then when that challenge is done, like my work is done with that challenge, right? It's not something that I'm doing for months after. They get to be part of the community. And then when the challenge is done, the community is left open for them, but I'm no longer active in it. Number 4 would be video courses. So these are really great if you need a visual for what you're teaching. So let's say that you're like a fitness instructor and you're, selling a boot camp. You probably need to have videos for them, right? It's not something that you can just describe in a PDF. So if you need a visual, if you're a baking, if you're doing something with baking, anything where like they would need to see what you're doing, mini video courses are amazing for them. Now, I would still include some sort of PDF though, because people do learn in different ways. For example, my next digital product bootcamp launch will have PDF guides for every module for people to print out because I want people to be able to read it and see it at the same time. I'm even considering doing like a private podcast that has me saying everything as well, right? You really want your products, especially if it's a video course, for them to be able to digest it in other ways as well. Because again, people hear things in different ways and they might need to read it as well. Next would be one-on-one coaching sessions. Now, this is not something you have to do if you don't want to, but I will say that you can learn so much from offering them in the early days, really to just learn what your ideal customer and their needs are. But I would never do these long-term because they do take a lot of energy and they do take a lot out of you. I love them. I miss them. I don't offer them anymore, but I noticed that when I did them, I really couldn't help as many people. I couldn't impact as many people because I was so tired from doing the one-on-ones. I couldn't show up in other areas of my business, but doing these in the early days really, really helped me to like learn what people wanted. I think when I first launched mine, they were $97 for 45 minutes together. And I learned so much from those early days and those early one-on-one things, the one-on-one coaching sessions, just to learn what people wanted and then take that and put it into my other products. Number 6 would be masterminds. This is great for higher touch, but again, it requires more time and energy. These are not necessarily passive. It's a digital product and it's great, but you are a little bit more involved. So I like these for 1 to 2 times a year if you have the capacity for them, right? These are typically group containers with 15 to 30 people max and higher ticket. It really depends on you and what you want to offer them as and what you have the capacity for. But these are best launched after you've built trust with your audience. So I have a current student that she's been with me since the beginning. I love her. But she started doing masterminds as well. And she launched her first digital product. And then, she wanted to be more involved with people. So she then launched a mastermind where the people who had already bought her lower ticket could work with her even closer. And I think she has like 15 people in each one. And it's great. She loves it. She gets to, I think it's 3 or 4 weeks that she spends with them. But yeah, they're intense. I love them. And I love being able to like work closer with people, but you really have to have the capacity for something like this. Now, let's talk about what to include in your digital products. And I know this is a lot coming at you today, but I feel like all of this is very important. And you guys will get the slides to this as well when you're done, if you want to come back in and kind of reference each section that we've gone through. But first and foremost, you guys, sticky note method to plan it out. Literally every single digital product that I create, when I have my idea, I literally just start jotting down things that I want to include. I still have like a time lapse from my first video where I did it for my UGC starter kit, and I saved those forever. And it's nice because you just like jot down ideas, right? And then when it comes time to create it, you can go and kind of organize everything on the wall. I literally just take mine and stick them on a blank wall and organize it in the order that you think is best for them, right? Because you really need to visually see everything together and think, okay, what do they need to do first? Like what's going to set them up for the most success? And being able to see everything visually at once is super helpful. So I always do that with every single digital product. But then other things that you need to include, obviously, first and foremost is an introduction. I do an introduction on every single offer. You guys will notice today, everything that I'm talking about in a digital product is inside of Rich Girl Offers, right? I did an introduction at the beginning. I've led several live classes now. Every time I do an introduction, I just add different things about me, right? I'm kind of running out of facts about me, but every time I do it, I do an introduction. I think one time I didn't do it, and I immediately got feedback from someone saying like, hey, I love the training today, but like, I really would have loved just like a little introduction on you. And this just goes to show that we are sick of our story. We think everyone knows every part about our story. They watch every story, they watch every reel, they read every email. They don't. And it's important to introduce yourself. So whether it's a live training, like today, I did an introduction, whether it's your PDF and you have a page that has a little bit of your story. If you're doing a mini video course, I do an introduction video at the beginning. It's like 2 minutes and I literally just introduce myself. And tell them a little bit about me, right? It's not super complicated. If I were doing templates or presets, I would literally have the delivery email talk a little bit about me and my story and why I got started and why I created this, right? The introduction is so crucial, and you never want to miss an opportunity to connect with your audience, right? Short, sweet, simple. You tell your story, how it relates to what you sell. And bonus points if you include a recent headshot. You want people to recognize you and connect with you when they see that introduction. Next would be a table of contents. Just like I did on the training today, I had a slide that said what you are going to learn today, right? I spelled out my table of contents for what you are going to be learning. I do this in my PDFs as well, right? You want to make it as easy as possible for them to digest your digital product. And by starting off with, hey, this is what we're going to go over today, their brain is going to feel more prepared. They're going to know what's coming and they're going to be excited. Bonus points if you make it clickable, if you sell a PDF guide. So this is something that we just added to my digital product starter kit. I don't know why it took me so long. I did on my first one. But the table of contents are clickable. So if you're like, hey, today I really want to learn about the freebie thing, where is that? You can go to my table of contents and you can click on it and it will take you to that page. So again, that goes back to digestibility and having something be very easily accessible. Next is a clear roadmap. So, wow, I spelled important wrong. This is so important. You want your customers to have a very clear roadmap, not just a bunch of information thrown at them, right? And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but being very clear that, this is the process you're going to take to get there, not just here's information, hope it's helpful. No, here's information, here's how you're going to apply it, and here's your homework for today, right? You want a very clear roadmap. Next, only what they need, right? They are buying this digital product to save time, money, or energy. Don't waste that opportunity with fluff. Like I said before, I go through every single digital product and I go through and delete things. I deleted about 10 slides of fluff before we started today because I was like, you know what, this is not really pertinent. They don't need to know that. Like, that's not going to help them in the long run, right? You don't want people taking 45 minutes reading something to then get through to something that they actually need. So focus on only what they need to be successful. Number 5 is updates. So if you're someone that is nervous about launching your first digital product or nervous about launching a product, I want you to know that you can always update it, right? I'm constantly running, I have a running list of updates that students have asked for, right? Show them that you listen, show them that you care about them and that you care about them getting the best experience ever, right? This also helps you create the best possible resources. My resources today are not what they were at the beginning. My digital product starter kit has been updated time and time and time again, based on the feedback that I am getting from people. And that's another reason that I'm not nervous to put out products, because I know that I can always make it better. I know that I will always listen to them. If you are someone that's in my digital product bootcamp, you know that I am constantly asking questions. The list of updates for the next round of that are all because of the students saying, hey, I want more information here. Okay, great. I didn't know that they needed to know that. I need to add that into the next one, right? And so I'm not nervous to launch products anymore because I know that I can take that feedback, turn it around, and make the product even better. And with your first one, you do have to kind of get past the idea of maybe someone's upset that that's not in there, or maybe, you feel like you let them down. You didn't, right? If you don't listen to them and you leave it as is for 5 years and you sell the same outdated product, yeah, you know what? You should feel bad about that. But if you are constantly trying to make things better, and if someone says, hey, I was really hoping this would be in there, just say, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. I didn't even realize people would appreciate that. I'm going to work on that and add that as an update, right? It's just an opportunity to delight them and to say, hey, thank you so much for that suggestion. I love that. I'm totally going to add that to my product. Now, do not overthink this part. Please. Like I said before, you can always go and update it. And I think overthinking kills good ideas all the time, right? People feel imposter syndrome. They overthink it. They release it and then say, well, no one's going to buy it. That's what I did with my digital product starter kit. I launched it, not hard launch it. I soft launched it. I think I sold or sent one email, hardly sold anything. I felt like I was an imposter. I felt like nobody wanted to learn from me. I didn't talk about it for 2 or 3 months, right? Now it's one of the top selling products in its price range on Stan. It is very popular. People love it. And I love it. It is a solid product. I love it. But I overthought it so much in the beginning. And what if I had just said, you know what? No one ever wants this. No one's going to learn from this. I would have missed out on so much. My students would have missed out on so much. So do not overthink this part, please. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about creating your $1 million offer suite. So your $1 million offer suite, the first thing you need, and this is the order that I released mine in. The first thing that you need is a freebie. And we're going to go over these in depth a little bit more, but this is just the general layout. The next would be a $37 to $47 offer. These are not hard numbers. So if you want to launch a 27 or a 37, within that range, that's great for your first offer. Next, a $67 offer. After that, a $97 offer. And you'll notice they are all low ticket because that's what we're learning about today. And then last but not least would be limited release products that range from 127 to, around 2000. That's just what I did. You don't have to go that high. You can go higher if you want to create something bigger. But the key with these is limited release, right? Whenever you do a little bit higher ticket, it is better to have an open close thing so that people have to make a decision. Like I said before, this is what worked for my specific business. You can take what you want from it. You can pull different pieces of it, but this is how I created my $1 million offer suite. So first and foremost is your freebie. I get asked all the time, do I need a freebie? I think so. Yes, I think people need to get that freebie to trust you first. And it's a great way to build your email list. Alex Hormozy, who we're going to talk about in a second, he talks about freebies a lot. And something that I love that he talks about with them is that like your freebie should be better than like other people's paid offers. And that's something that I'm really working on with my freebie right now, is making it so good, making it something that people leave thinking like, wow, this was amazing. What's next? Right. So as you're creating your freebie, I really want you to be thinking like, how can I serve people so well that after they get this freebie, they're gonna be like, okay, what's the next product? I need it right now, because that was so amazing. Number 2 would be the $37 digital product. My UGC starter kit was my first one. And this is great for solving one problem for your ideal customer, right? You want to, again, go way over the top with this one, make it as good as possible, because this is their first impression with you. This is the first time that they're learning from you. And it's really important for them to leave this first product thinking, wow, that was amazing. I love that. I wonder what they're going to do next. Number 3 in your product suite, $67. You'll see now that mine are like $67 to $87 in that price range. And this is great for your second offer that's solving the next problem, but a little bit more in depth. So for me, it was my digital product starter kit and then IG growth for sales, right? So you kind of need the digital product starter kit before you get IG growth, because Instagram growth for sales is all about growing your Instagram full of buyers. If you don't have a digital product, that's not really going to help you very much. Number 4 would be the $97 product. And this is great price range for like a live training or a challenge or something that's a little bit more interactive, that really lets them nurture and connect with you, and especially for your current audience. So you'll notice that each product I'm creating doesn't need a new audience every single time, right? And that's very intentional. I want my product suite to like go in order so that people can find me at any time and I'll have something for them, but also for customer retention. So many of my sales are from people who've bought the first one, who've bought the second one, and now the third one, right? And that's so intentional. Number 5, one-on-one coaching. Again, this is great for market research and getting to connect with your community kind of on a deeper level. But again, you do not have to do this one. Mine started at 97, but when I was done offering them, I had to kind of price it in a way where like, okay, what is worth my time? And also what results can I get people? And at that point, my one-on-one students were like seeing crazy results. I mean, some of them, like they'd have a one-on-one with me one day, and then the next day or a few days after, like one of them, her sales like doubled. I knew I could get people results, but it also really had to be worth my time. And eventually I think the last round of one-on-ones that I offered were $497. And they included a bunch of my digital products as well. So if you bought a one-on-one coaching session, you would get all my lower ticket digital products as well. So that was a way to just like really over deliver to them and let them know like, hey, thank you so much for investing with me. Like, here's all these other things for you as well. For the mastermind, this is great. If you don't have the capacity for one-on-ones, but you still want to work closely with people. And this one, like I said before, when you're creating a mastermind, you really want to decide what type you want it to be. So there's some masterminds where it's a ton of information and it's like deeper level information, or the type of masterminds I ran were more just my brain and them getting to ask me questions, right? So it was more geared towards people that had already bought products from me and either wanted to scale or they wanted to get better and they just wanted to spend 6 weeks with me and have Q&As, and they were inside a Slack channel with me. There'll be more information on the spreadsheet that I'm going to give you guys on all these, but masterminds are really awesome, but you really have to pick and choose what you want to include with them. So for my last round, we had weekly weekly group calls. There was 15 people in the group. We met every Tuesday for 6 weeks. And then they had Slack access to me Monday through Thursday, right? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I didn't have anything, but those other times I was involved with them. And that was all they got. Again, with the mastermind, I included all of my lower ticket stuff for them, so that when they were entering this, if they hadn't gotten something, they now had access to all of that. Now, the most important part of your offer suite that it goes in order that your audience would need them, right? And that you don't have products that compete with each other. I think this is the biggest issue I see, is that people have, created 4 different products and they're all competing with each other. They all are similar enough to where people don't know what product to buy, right? And even my product suite, it is very clearly in an order. And I talk about the order all the time. I still get questions from people who are like, I don't have a digital product yet. What do I need? Right. So I still have to tell them hey, you need the digital product starter kit first. So if you're creating your offers, they should stack on top of each other, not be something where they're all similar levels and they have to choose. One example of this was one of my students. She does juicing, right? And she had, a 3-day juicing challenge, and then a cleanse, and then a 7-day juicing challenge. And I told her I love all your ideas. I think they're great, but I think you either need to launch each one at a different time or be more specific with what goes first. So introductory to juicing, and then how to maybe heal an ailment with juicing. And then maybe the last offer be a live challenge or something where we juice all together and there's a community aspect to it, right? So you want each product to stand alone and be able to differentiate. I don't want to have to be choosing I know where I'm at, but I don't know which product to choose. You need to take that choice away from people when you're building your product suite. So we're going to go over my product suite to kind of explain what I mean. Oops. Whoa, sorry. I dropped these on my keyboard and it did that. Okay, so my product suite. First and foremost is my current offer that you're launching. Or current offer that you are launching. Spelled you are wrong. Wow, my typos are great today. So at the top is always what you're currently launching. So we talked about earlier that, there's certain things that you may be launching and they're not going to live in your shop forever, your product suite forever. It needs to go at the top, right? If you are talking about one thing mainly, that needs to be the highest thing in your stand store. Next would be your freebie that you're using to grow your list and build trust. So usually my freebie would be first, but because I have a live offer that's going away when today's class is over, I don't know if I'm going to sell the replay or not yet, but if I did, it wouldn't be for a little bit. My freebie would be the first thing that I have. Next would be step 1 for your customers. So like I said before, digital product starter kit, that is the first thing that people need from me if they're starting from 0. Next would be step 2 for your customer. So IG growth for sales. This teaches them how to grow their Instagram and sell on there. Next, would be step 3 for your customers. So Rich Girl Reels is naturally the next progression. After that, step 4 for my customers would be Rich Girl Stories. Now, my shop does feel a little like it has a lot going on right now, but I think it's really important that they all go in an order, right? It makes sense when people need things. And just a reminder, I did not build this product suite all out very quickly, right? It took me 15 months to build this out. I've tried different things. Like I said, I've launched 11 different things to kind of build this out and see what works the best and what I want to keep around. But now that these are part of my offers, this is the order that they should be in. And then at the very bottom is where I have affiliate links, right? So there's certain things that I talk about in my content, and those are affiliate links. You'll notice on Stan that I have those as a small little blurb, and that's very much intentional because I don't want my whole shop to be all of these huge things and be really distracting. I just want these at the bottom for if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for this, great, it's in my Stan store. They know that it's there. Now, if I had a mastermind launching, or my digital product bootcamp, those things are a little bit higher ticket, but again, those would go at the top because those are live launching things, right? Those are things that I'm only launching for a certain amount of time. And once the launch is over, they're no longer in my shop. So that would be at the top if I were launching that. Next, and something that is a huge contributing factor to hitting that $1 million in 15 months, in revenue was one-time offers and order bumps. Now, these are incredible and I love them, but you can't really do them until you start building out your product suite. And that's totally okay. It takes time, but as you do it, you should offer them. So the first one is my Rich Girl offers. So right now that is live launching. The order bump for that is a digital product starter kit, right? Because they go really well together, in my opinion, and they get a price break on it. So if they add it as an order bump, it is 67 instead of 87 like it usually is in my shop. And next is my freebie. So my freebie has a one-time offer for my $67 digital product starter kit, right? So they download my freebie, and then a pop-up page comes up, and it's a landing page in Stan that has a one-time offer for my digital product starter kit for 67 instead of usually being at 87. That one converts really well. And then on that page as well, so that's a one-time offer, it pops up, it's a Stan store sales page. There's an order bump on that page for my IG growth for sales to get that at 47. Those both convert really well, and I love having that. Next would be an order bump, and that is IG growth for sales for $47 for my digital product starter kit. So they can kind of bundle those together and save some money there. After that is an order bump on my IG growth for sales. So that one is for the digital product starter kit. That one doesn't convert as well, because usually if people are coming to buy this, they've already bought that. But I leave it on there just to have that one-time offer for people, just in case they still need that. Next would be on Rich Girl Reels. I have an order bump for Rich Girl Stories that saves people, I think it's $50 it saves them, either 40 or 50, I can't remember, and I can't do math like live. So again, Rich Girl Reels and Rich Girl Stories go really well together, and I market it as such. Like, I market the fact that they can bundle it on this Rich Girl Reels page. And then last but not least, the order bump for IG growth for sales is what is on there for Rich Girl Stories. This one doesn't convert super well. I should probably honestly add something else, but I was just trying to test out having something that maybe they didn't have that first, right? Rich Girl Reels is a live thing. It comes with a live challenge. So I don't have that as an order bump on there because they can't see the challenge information. With order bumps on Stan, you only get this like little blurb to say what your order bump is. They can't click on a sales page for it. So it just has to be really clear. And I would hate for people to buy the order bump for Rich Girl Reels without knowing when the challenge starts and those details on there. So that is why I have that as my order bump. But by adding order bumps, my sales practically doubled per day, because it's just a constant additional income, right? People are constantly adding that. And when you start marketing that they can get like a discount by adding that order bump, it's amazing. So as you're building your offer suite, think of how you can be adding in those order bumps as you go. I don't think you necessarily need to just like create everything at once. I think you should listen to your audience and like slowly build these out and have them available for people so that they are super awesome order bumps and offers for people to add. Now, just a reminder, your $1 million offer suite is not something that you build overnight. You're not going to, in 1 week, have 7 products and order bumps and, double your sales with order bumps. It's something that you're building over time based on what your audience wants from you. And that is on purpose. Like, this is how longevity is built within your business, because you are listening to your audience and you are taking the time to create things that they actually want from you. I've launched 11 different products to build this particular offer suite, right? Some of them did great. Some of them did not so great. Some of them I didn't enjoy. Some of them I didn't feel like got the best results, right? I did not just wake up one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to create this and it's going to sell and I know it's going to sell. No, again, it was trial and error to get to these, to this $1 million product suite, which feels crazy to say. Now, before we get into the Q&A, I want to share with you a resource for offer creation. I have this book. I love it. It's got my sticky notes in it. I talk about it all the time. If you guys don't have it, I would get this book. I think it's $25 on Amazon for the soft cover. It's 100% worth it. I use it every single time I create an offer. And it's really nice to just like have the basics written out for me, for creating $1 million offers, $100 million offers, sorry. But love this book. I will include the link in the replay, for you guys if you want to grab it, but it's just so good. And it's really nice to just kind of have like something to reference every time you create an offer and make sure that it has everything that you need in it. I love Alex Hormozy. I love the way he teaches. It's a very no fluff way. And I love it. So that book, I love it. Okay, now we are going to get into the Q&A. Oh, Q&A, I can't talk. I'm just gonna scroll back for a sec. It's the beginning of the chat. I'm also gonna take a drink of water so that I don't die. I always forget to drink water, and then at the end, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna faint. Okay. Sorry, guys, let me just get back to the beginning. Oh, somebody said their husky's named Nymphadora and she goes by Tonks. Another Harry Potter reference. Okay, so I'm not skipping over your questions if you're putting them in and I'm not getting to them right away. I'm just going in order from what you guys asked during the training. So don't think that I'm ignoring you if you're adding them now. Okay, what did you make that no one bought? All your offers seem to blow up. So I tried to launch an email marketing like live thing where we would build out your emails and your funnels, mainly because people were asking for it. But then I realized, like, as I started marketing it, like it wasn't my passion. And it was something that like I was still really learning. So like 2 days in, a few people had like asked about it. I probably could have sold it if I wanted, but it just didn't like feel right. So then I was just open in my stories. I said like, hey, I'm pivoting a little bit. I don't think this is the right offer for me to do right now. And we're just gonna kind of pivot a little bit. So it was just like very clear the second I started talking about it and launching it that it was not what I needed to be doing and not, like I said, my expertise. And I wasn't passionate about it. Emails are still really hard for me. I use Hillary for a lot of them. Like we get on calls, she picks my brain and then she helps me write the email. So it's hard for me still. Short form content is my bread. Like I love short form content and captions and things like that. I'm really good at that. Emails are still hard for me. So yeah, not everything sells that. And also, like I said, with my digital product starter kit, like I did not sell that well at all at the beginning. I was just barely talked about it. It like lived in my stand store. I almost took it down because I was just like embarrassed. I don't know. What is your human design type? I don't know. I should look into that. Fellow sociologist. I love it. Okay. Just created a reel that is blowing up and growing my email list. I can't wait to finish my digital products so that I can finally launch it to these incredible people. This training came in the perfect timing. Yay, I love that. Okay, I know Stand Store does courses. Do you have any insight on moving Kajabi courses to Stand Store? Does it also have the quiz feature? I don't think that it has the quiz feature. But I will say Kajabi is definitely like more beefed out than Stan when it comes to video courses. So like if that is like a big course and a lot of people already have it, I don't know that I would move it to Stan. I use Stan because like that's what I have. I like having everything in one hub. But if I were to have like most of my main things be like video courses, I'd probably use Teachable or Kajabi until Stan is like a little bit more advanced in that area. Because Stan's still really new. I'm pretty sure they got started like end of 2021. Like they're very new company still. And they're smaller. Like they were started by the owner. John is a content creator. It's a very small company still. So yes. Okay, someone who's French said that I'm saying niche right. Okay, good. I have the regular Stancer account. When did you upgrade to Pro so you could add the upsell offers? As soon as they launched it, you guys, I saw somebody get it on TikTok, the upsell, and I knew it would be amazing. And I remember emailing Stan saying, when is this available to the public? Like, I don't have it yet. I want it. And they were working on it and they had a few people testing it. So I got it like the second that they offered it because I knew it would be a game changer. Like when I saw it, I was immediately like, oh my gosh, I need to add this upsell. I love this feature. So I got it like the second I could. But if you don't have an offer upsell yet, I wouldn't upgrade until you're ready to add that. So the niche could be how to make a sourdough starter and make it thrive in half the time, but the personal brand is baking overall. Yeah, so the personal brand, the way I see it, would be baking, right? And then when you're focusing on your niche and what type of digital products to sell, that would be the problems that you are solving for people. Yes, so I know it can feel kind of confusing, but that's in my head the best way to look at it when you're trying to sell a digital product from it. You need to get specific in the niche and then like know your overall broad topic, which would be baking. Okay. I was torn between my digital products to create, and now I know which one. I love that. Do you do a live training with every digital product you sell? No, I just started doing these in April of this year is when I launched IG Growth for Sales. That was my first one. And like I said, I just really love them. My daughter is still pretty young. She's 3 and she is a mama's girl through and through. So like, I don't have a whole lot of quiet time. So the idea of launching all these mini video courses, like I could never get them done ever. It would never work. Whereas with live trainings, I love that I'm also able to do these Q&As at the end, and just like be live with people. There's like an energy, right? Like the way I present live is different than me recording in a closet at night when everyone's asleep, right? Like, so I think for me, I just found that like, this is my sweet spot, and I really love it. So that's why I do those. I've been doing digital marketing since 2015 and teach content creation, but I'm finally ready to merge the two together. It's been hard to find one problem to solve after doing so many things over the years. The thing with that is like, you don't have to solve one problem forever. You just have to solve one problem at a time. If you're launching 5 different things at the same time, people aren't going to know which one to buy. But if you launch one thing really hard for a month, they're going to know exactly what they're buying from you and they're going to be excited for it, right? And then when you're done with that, launch the next thing or give it a little bit of time, sell that one passively for a little bit, and then launch the next one. So it's not about deciding one thing to sell for the rest of your life. It's about selling one problem that you're solving at a time. Okay, it helps to look clearly also at what you love doing, which you think is not special. That sometimes is your niche, yes. I have a hard time defining the problem myself. I'm a realtor and I own rental properties. I have a digital product that is a beginner's guide to rental properties, trying to figure out my messaging to speak to the problem. And then someone said, do you want to go after people who are brand new, or do you have an interest in talking to people who have at least one investment property and how to expand their portfolio? So if you want to expand your product suite, I would start from the very beginning and kind of like how to get your own rental property, something like that. But I would get specific, like you could do something on like how to get your first rental property and turn it into an Airbnb, something like that, where it's like very specific what they're going to be doing with it. But I would start with the bottom level or like the entry level and then build your product suite up after that one, right? And the problem you're solving is teaching people how to buy a rental property and turn it into an Airbnb. Like I have no idea how to do that. I would love a resource on that. Okay. Oh, someone said, I felt like I got my money's worth already. You guys are so sweet. Someone said, I like the 3-word title, Rich Girl. Me too. I had a lot of fun with that one. I really wanted to like spice up my name and make it like something fun again. I feel like digital products and like digital marketing has become very popular, which I know it's also popular because that's my niche and I see a lot of that content because the algorithm feeds it to me. But I just wanted something to like stand out a little bit. Another thing that $100 million offers helps a lot with is naming. I love this book for naming. Like it's so simple how it takes you through how to name an offer. I love it. My niche is using Facebook and Instagram ads to help business owners grow their list full of leads so they can sell more of their courses and offers. I know there is a lot of digital products that could fall under this niche. Oh my gosh, so many. Yeah, definitely. Can you go into detail about your $9 masterclass? This is a great low ticket offer idea. Would you recommend to newbies, to DBs with digital products doing that? I think it's really great. And someone said underneath as like a soft test as an idea. And exactly, I didn't want to necessarily like make a ton of money off that masterclass. I was more using it to like nurture and connect with people and like take them along for my journey in a very low ticket way. It was a lot of fun. And I think there was only like 50 of us. It wasn't like a huge thing, but I was just so excited to like talk about it and share with people and be like, hey, like this is what happened. Like this is wild. And like we got into like the nitty gritty of like what converted on social media, what converted on Instagram. But again, it was more just like, are people interested in this? And they were. It was so much fun for me. But again, it wasn't something that I was like, this is $9. I need to sell 4,000 of these. Like, no, I literally just wanted to like test it and see if people were interested. Yes, TikTok has a higher search volume than Google, which is insane. To do these live trainings, do you just need Zoom Pro and then upload it as an unlisted YouTube video? Any other technology? Yep. So the sheet that I'm going to give you guys will have more of like the nitty gritty. This would have been like a 3-hour training if I had gone into all the little things for that. But each type of digital product, I'll go into like my tips on things because yes, with Zoom, so you'll need Zoom Pro, and then you'll need to do the upgrade for how many people can join if you sell over a certain amount. So I sold, I think, almost 700 spots to this, but not everybody shows up live, right? So I knew that I could get the $500 or not $500, 500 person upgrade for people to be on the Zoom. Like when you sell something that not 700 people aren't going to show up. I knew that. I've done enough of these to know that like it's a percentage. Now, if I had sold 1,000, I would have got the upgrade to the 1,000 spot room because 50% of people, pretty average, but like you never know when it's that high. So I always err on the side of caution, but you'll need to upgrade that. And then the way I choose to do it, yes, is an unlisted YouTube video. You could also do, what is that other one called? There's another one, but it's paid to host your videos there and you could send the link to people. But Zoom Unlisted has been the easiest thing for me to do. And I like it because people can watch it back really easily. It's just like very simple for people to watch the replay, which again, I want people to watch the replay. I want them to easily be able to have access to it. But yes, that's all that I use. And then Canva for my slides. I do use Canva for my slides because I am a slide girl through and through. I need those slides to like keep me on track. Is there an option for Latin markets? I think WordStream is only for the US. I'm pretty sure you could choose which country. Maybe it's only US. I don't know of any others. I'd probably honestly search TikTok. I think TikTok's more valuable than WordStream anyway. My niche is New Jersey and New York travel and lifestyle. I want to help people that are unsatisfied with affordable yet fun options to save money while out with family and friends in New Jersey and New York. That's really fun. And I feel like you could do a lot with like brand sponsorships too. When you're a local influencer or like someone who sells something local, your market's not going to be as big because it only applies to people who want to travel there or who want to live there. So I would definitely look into like sponsorships and things like that in your area to kind of help that a little bit too. I'm a medical doctor, personal trainer, and mom of 2. My niche is teaching moms how to build their healthiest bodies after kids. But is that really a niche? Is that solving a real problem? I sell a workout program, 30-minute effective workouts, and a recipe book with easy and tasty recipes and meal prep section. But I'm constantly asking myself, is this a real problem and does it match what I'm helping? 100% it's a real problem. I think for you, you really need to focus on the marketing side of it, right? Because every mom out there needs help eating healthy. Every mom out there needs help like feeling good again when they're done, when they have a baby and afterwards. So I think really honing in and asking your ideal customers, like, what do you struggle with the most? What do you need the most help with, right? Because for you, it's about how you're selling it and how you're selling the feeling of how they're going to feel when they take care of themselves and how easy it's going to be with your program. So 100% that's a need, like 100%. You just need to find your sweet spot on marketing to really see what people need and make sure that your digital product offers that for them. I have an 8-week course that empowers women to move from feeling exhausted, heavy, dark to feeling light and joy. Do you have a recommendation on converting it to a lower cost digital products. So when you already have a course, I would say if you want a low ticket thing, taking like the first step and something that's like really going to help them and be very tangible as your digital product. So maybe the first step that you teach in there, having that be your digital product so that when they're done, they're like, wow, this was amazing. I want more. And then your course is the next option. Those are a little bit harder to do when your course is open all the time. If it's something that's like open and closed, it's easier to sell the lower ticket stuff in the close period. And then when it's open again, you're focusing on the bigger one. I would love a rich girl email training. Good thing 2024 is coming. Hillary and I have been working together to create rich girl emails. So 2024, here we go. Okay, I skipped the research step because I had so many one-on-one clients in the past, so I just created a digital product based on the outcome they wanted. It is selling, but now I'm kind of struggling to make a second one to support my current students. Most students are shy to connect and don't engage with me. I guess my question is, what's the next step besides continuously trying to nurture relationships in social media? So you can really focus on two things. You can either try and grow more to get more people on your current product, or you can really try to get your customers to open up a little bit more. Maybe do like a live training or something where you're just able to get more out of them, because when you solve one problem for someone, you create a next problem, right? And not in a bad way, in a good way. Like when I teach you how to create a digital product, you're like, great, this is awesome. How do I sell more of them, right? Like there's a next problem every single time. When you're done learning how to sell on social, you guys are like, how do I sell an email now? Right? Like I'm like constantly creating a next problem for you. So really sit down and focus on like, okay, what is the next problem they're going to have, and kind of anticipate that, right? Like before anyone asked for rich girl emails, I was already working on it, right? It's been something in the works for a while. I knew that would come next because some people aren't as comfortable on social media. I love social media. I'm good at it. It's just something that I love, right? But I know not everybody wants that. So I knew that email would be the next, the next thing people wanted. Someone said, I like seeing past Abigail. Whole different life, guys. It's crazy. My niche is teaching parents how to spend more time outside with their kids, adventure, and travel more as a family. And I created a beginner guide for outdoor families, but now I'm pivoting to a seasonal 30-day outdoor challenge instead. They'll have a homeschool blurb and a craft to go along with each day. I love that. There's an account called, I think it's 1,000 Hours Outside, and they have things like that. I love them. I love them so much. It's so cool to just like buy something where it's like, tell me what to do outside today. Like, tell me that I need to go to a creek and let my kid pick rocks up and throw them. Little things like that, where it's just like so helpful to have a plan. So I love that so much, Sarah. Okay, my niche is PCOS, and I have people that ask questions in my DMs and will ask for my freebie, but when it comes to my course and my digital handbook I've created, people won't really purchase. The handbook only has one sale. I sent it to a few people for reviews and it got good reviews about it. How do I know if I should continue or change things up? So this sounds like a marketing problem, not an offer problem. So I would really sit down and work out like what problem you're solving for people and kind of like their pain points and how you can relate to them to sell it, right? Because you can have the best digital product in the whole world, and if you don't know how to market it, it doesn't matter. You have to learn how to market it effectively to people. So I would focus on the marketing aspect right now. If we're just starting to create our account, should we be on Instagram and TikTok? Do you feel like being on both platforms expedited your growth? So I was technically never super active on both at the same time. So I got started on TikTok, and I feel like TikTok really helped me build my confidence. I had a lot of fun on TikTok. It was just like, I was very like entranced with TikTok and I wanted to learn the app. I was so like, okay, my people are here. How do I learn this? Like I literally stayed up at night, like studying creators and studying viral videos. Why was it going viral? What were they doing? And then there was a bunch of drama with TikTok. There was a troll and she got my account like taken down, fully deleted at 90,000 followers. And TikTok is just not the same anymore. The trolls there are really horrendous. They're so mean. Like there's literally people on TikTok, it feels like they just wake up ready to like whose life am I going to ruin today? And I don't like that. So now I'm mainly on Instagram. But I did, I definitely like had some people follow me from both, and people still find my old circulating TikTok videos, but in Stan Store, you can see where your clicks are coming from, and a majority of mine come from Instagram now. So I think you could grow on both, but I think it's more important to start on one, get the hang of it, and then move on to the next. It's really overwhelming to try and learn 2 platforms at once, and you'll probably get burnout. So I would pick one. And right now, Instagram is my vote. It's also a lot easier to sell on Instagram. TikTok, you can't really like straight up ask for the sale. You have to kind of people like leave them like wanting more and like wanting to go click your link. Whereas on Instagram, I can say, hey, if you want this, comment this keyword and I'll send you the link, and it works. Do you suggest starting a new Instagram account when you hone in on your niche? My account is homeschool, but stuck at 2K followers. Is it better to start over? There's a lot of different things that go into starting over. I think some people think that like a new account will like let them start fresh and it'll be great and amazing and get pushed out. But like at the end of the day, if your niche isn't changing that much, I think it's fine to just start with what you have. Don't overthink it though. Figure out what you're doing and go hard on that. Start over or don't, but like make the decision and move forward. My niche is female entrepreneurs in their first 2 years of business, helping with mindset and business, how to navigate the lows and challenges in business, like $0 launches, no new clients, customers, or students without self-sabotaging. I don't know if there was a question there. Anna, if you had a question, could you pop it at the bottom? Okay. I love this. I love personal branding. Is truly connecting, which I love. Yes, it's a lot more fun too. I've heard this statement before and it's always stayed with me. We either attract or repel people with how we present ourselves. The people that like what you do and say are the ones that don't naturally will move on to the next person. You are the brand. Yes, absolutely. My niche is personal development. I'm really stuck between creating a journal or workbook about finding hobbies, passions, purpose, or creating a workbook about helping people clarify their goals and create their best life. Either of those sound interesting. I think both are too broad. You need to be very specific. Like finding a hobby or passion and purpose is not like, it's way too broad. I think maybe like finding joy in doing something, right? It definitely needs to be more specific. And I think workbooks work really well alongside something else. I think by themselves, they are a little harder to sell by themselves. I struggle to come up with catchy names. ChatGPT. I've never let ChatGPT like actually name something for me, but you can go in and be like, I am this. I teach people how to do this. Give me, this is the digital product I'm creating. Give me a list of 10 names, all under 6 words that I could use as a name. And most of the time they're really cheesy, but honestly, my brain does really well when I see what I don't like. If I see something that I hate, it kind of like triggers something that maybe I like better. It also like, you can like pull the words that it uses. It's nice to just like see what it's thinking and play off of that. And then it doesn't always have to be catchy. I mean, digital product starter kit was my first one. IG growth for sales. Like those are very clear. I actually think clear is better than catchy. I liked Rich Girl Reels and Rich Girl Things because I knew I could spin it in a way that like my audience would know. And it's still very clear, like Rich Girl Reels, you're going to create reels that make you a rich girl. Like it's still pretty clear in my opinion. But I didn't start with catchy names because I wanted to be very clear in what I was offering people. When you say personal brand, you mean literally just calling your brand your name? Yes, that's part of it. I think having it as your name is the way to go, as long as you're okay, like having your personal name be your business. I think it's better, honestly. I recently switched my niche over to helping people with grief and healing and sharing my story. I have a few low ticket offers I just completed, but I struggle with higher ticket products. My main content pillars are sibling loss, miscarriage, and birth trauma. Suggestions on a low ticket and high ticket. So this isn't something that I know much about. So I would say you need to listen to your audience on this and see like what they need. I don't necessarily have a high ticket idea other than maybe like a group program that's helping them process it. Something where they're like going through it with you and able to like lean on you, but that almost feels kind of like therapy. So I'm not really sure about that, but for the low ticket things, listen to your audience. Like, what do they need most from you? This is a little bit more of like a touchier niche. So you just need to make sure that like it's something that could really help them. But yeah, this would be something where like you really just need to listen to your audience. So maybe offering one-on-ones first to help people process and cope with it, to see what they are actually needing. Oh, sorry. IMO means in my opinions. My bad, guys. I've always wanted to brand myself as hope charged, but worried people won't get the message the same way people get rich girl. Yeah, I don't get the message at all just by that. So if you're worried, then it's a valid worry. I'd also love, oh, people are putting their names to connect. I love that. So my 30-day outdoor challenge outcome for people would be something like they'll be less intimidated going outside in the winter with their kids, or that they'll have made it a consistent habit in their daily life. I think like saving time and energy, like you don't have to think of these ideas. And then honestly, for me, what gets me in the content is like showing how good it is for my kid to get outside, showing like the difference in like talking about like the difference in her behavior when she spends 5 hours outside instead of 5 hours inside, things like that. Like think a little bit deeper on that outcome, Sarah, and like how it's going to help them. Go follow the 1,000 hours outside and just kind of like, you can follow them for a little bit and then mute them. So you're not just like, seeing all their ideas, but just kind of get a feel for how they do it. Cause for me, at least in my buyer type, it works really well seeing what, like the benefits of being outside, not just like, here's what you need to do. Why am I doing that? I have such a hard time with my niche. Still don't know if I'm being clear about it and what I do. I'm definitely multi-passionate, but mainly health and wellness I'm focused on right now. I'm a mom of 2 under 3, helping other moms get healthy and getting their toddlers to eat healthy and love it. I have a digital product, Nutrition Made Easy, and I also have a 50 recipe cookbook, Healthy, with gluten-free, dairy-free recipes, everything from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Wondering if I should pivot at all. So I would start with one thing, Melanie. Start with like one problem that you're solving for people. I know that, I followed a lot of accounts when my daughter was first learning how to eat, and my favorites were the ones that like focused on one thing at a time. So like how to feed your toddler their first foods, what to give them, how to prepare them, why it's good for them. And that's like all their account was for a while. And then like they went into the toddlerhood. I think that you're kind of trying to do a lot at once. So I would focus on one problem first. How do you make the switch to a personal brand when people know you as your business name? So this is something that you just have to be very, 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 very clear on and just like talk about it a lot if you are going to change it. I think notifying people is definitely worth it. But yeah, it is hard when you've already built a brand. This is another reason that I really wanted to start with Abigail Pugh, because I knew that like, what if I wanted to pivot? I didn't want to like change my name every single time. So it is a little bit harder to switch once you've already done it. How do you do a video like this? So I think we already went over this, but yeah, like I said, I use Zoom and then I record it to my cloud for this, and then I'll upload it as an unlisted video, and I use Canva to make my slides. So I'll have all those listed out in the PDF you guys will get when I send the replay out. I'm a trained life coach. My digital product is Grateful Exercise PDF. Do you think it's a profitable digital product? I also have lots of training about life coaching. Should I list them on Instagram profile? Is it necessary or beneficial? I feel like just training on life coaching is super, super broad. Why are people doing exercises to feel grateful? I would focus on like what they're going to feel the end point of these exercises. I just bought like a video course on exercises for like releasing stress and trauma, and her content is all about like how you'll feel after you release it and all the things that are like not normal, like when you're sitting, if your shoulders are clenched and you constantly have a headache from your shoulders being clenched, that's not normal. Things like that. And all these things where I'm like, oh God. And like, I know I hold stress in my body. Every week my chiropractor is like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. And so her marketing is all about like the relatability and like how I'm gonna feel after. So that's what I would focus on for that one. Do you find Facebook groups to be worth it and valuable? I do. They're not my favorite, but I like that it's free and everyone has access to it pretty easily. Some people hate them, but I'm just always very clear that like that's where a community is if that's where the community is held. Most people have notifications for it, so they like don't miss things. It's not ideal, but with my low ticket offers, it's not really in the budget to like create something that I'm gonna have to like continue paying for when the community ends. That's the thing for me, why I haven't like done other ththings. I've tried Slack. There's a new one that I'm actually a beta tester for. And it's very affordable, which I'm excited about because it's monthly, right? So I'm all just trying to always keep in mind, like, okay, if I build a community here and I have this community for 10 years and it's $400 a month, like that's 10 years of me paying $400 a month, right? So I'm a very long-term thinker. So I like that Facebook, because my communities are like they end when like the challenge ends or when something ends, like Facebook allows me to like let the community live on and they can still be in it. And you know, I'm not paying $400 a month for something. So I do like it for what it is, you know, not super ideal, but it does work for me. Have you experienced that you've given too much in a free product? I'm experiencing that now, but I think it's just my ego doesn't want me to give. Where does this come from? What do you think? I feel what I give is great and I love it, but this is feeling of fear. Okay, so I never ever worry about giving too much, ever. People are gonna feel it when you're like, oh, I don't want to give them everything, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna like put my whole paid digital product in the freebie, but like I want them to leave the freebie feeling so good, feeling so excited. But I'm very conscious of that, right? Like I want the freebie to be the step one where I'm like, I'm going to solve this problem for you and I'm going to solve it well, and you're going to feel confident and excited to go buy the next one. But I don't really worry about giving away too much for free. I've thought about makeup, over 40 skincare issues, classes, one-on-one. What is templates all about exactly? So templates, which by the way, I actually have a student who launched a guide on how to heal your acne naturally, and it's like selling really well. Like you guys would be surprised, the niches do super well because people know exactly if that product is for them or not. Templates, went over this in the training, but they're just things that like you can take within your business and make it a template for people, right? So like in Rich Girl Reels, there's caption templates. I could very easily sell those caption templates on their own if I wanted. I don't want to, but I totally could, right? So like that is a template where I've like taken something I'm good at, turned it into kind of a plug and play thing where it's like you put your information in and then it works. But templates are, it has to work within your niche, right? I love doing live training. Speaking comes easily. I love interacting, but I'm not sure that my audience wants that. How to build healthy habits that stick, live training within my niche, but unsure enough people would sign up and unsure how to even research it. So for that one, I probably wouldn't do a live training like that. For that type of thing, I would probably do a challenge where like they would buy the digital product and then get a live challenge within it. Because for what you're teaching, it makes more sense to like have daily accountability as opposed to a live challenge, in my opinion. So you could pull them and see if that's something they're interested in. I sell online courses selling resin art. That's so cool. Resin art is so fascinating. I could like watch that on TikTok for hours when people make it. How do you know exactly what to say in your sales page? So we're not going to go over sales pages today. But for your offers, there's a blog from, what's his name? Sun Yi. I'll put it in the replay. It's a really great blog on like things you need to include in every single sales page. I reference it every single time I write a sales page, and it's a blog, so it's free. So I will post that in the replay for you guys to see. Stan Store does a good video on YouTube. They do, I think Stan Store's video on it, I've watched it. I think you need a little bit more. just a little bit more. Some of Stan's are like a little bit shorter, and I think you need a little bit more storytelling in there. But when you're selling on social media, like your sales page is not doing the heavy lifting, your content is, but there still needs to be some storytelling, right? As opposed to like if someone's running paid ads to a sales page, the sales page needs to be long and have every single detail because they don't know who you are. They're literally blindly clicking something from an ad, right? So it's different when you're selling from social media. Do you think right now is a good time to launch a new digital product, or should we wait until the new year? At this point, I'd probably wait until the new year unless it's something related to Christmas. But you could build your wait list now 100%. For Rich Girl Reels in the January session, something we should join even within the December session. Totally up to you. You guys do get a discount if you're in the current round for the next rounds. One-on-ones drained me. Yes, you guys, one-on-ones, I loved them, but I really had to like put my foot down and not offer them anymore because it was just so much for me. That's what I want to do, is hit different learners and have the PDF guide with the private podcast combo. Yes. Alex Hormozy talks about that too, is like having your offers hit people in every way that they need to learn. So like essentially my goal is for every product to have like PDF form, listening and viewing, right? Like obviously that hasn't happened yet, but that is essentially my goal in the long run, so that everyone is supported in each and every type of product that I have. I have experience in so many things that I'm passionate about. It makes my stomach hurt because I feel like I cannot find my thing, but I have so many ways to help people. I went from food stamps to making 10K months as a stay-at-home mom, from using social media to market business and changed my entire life. But it was because I was doing so much work on my mindset and I had a vision for what I wanted. I know you can be a nobody and change your entire life, and that's what I'm passionate about, but I don't know what kind of product to create around that. So to start, I would just start sharing your journey and like where you came from. I think sometimes if you don't have like an exact offer, it's worth just like starting your brand, talking about what you did and kind of figuring out what people resonate with and what they want from you. Because you do have a lot to teach people. Mindset is a little bit less tangible, so I think it's a little bit harder to create or to sell something on that immediately. But who knows, like start building your personal brand, start talking about that, start seeing if people are interested in learning about that. Like I said before, like you'll never know unless you try something, right? And it's better to like try it than sit around and not know whether or not it's going to work. I love that I tried the other things that were my ideas, because now I know that I know I made the right choice and I didn't want to like build a personal brand on those things. Do you have any students in the relationship niche that have a successful digital product with a simple, tangible solution to one problem? So with this, anyone who's in like the relationship, they have multiple products, but they solve one problem at a time. So there's one of my students, he has a very large following now, and he has like different relationship things. He has like a conversation starter one for like how to understand your spouse better, multiple different things. But he started with one, right? Like you start with the first one and then you add on after that. I'm in parenting, relationship, family, culture, just starting out, but would love to connect. What's your handle? My bad. Would you recommend doing the mini video courses live, or just record yourself with your screen recording in Loom and packaging it that way? So mini courses wouldn't need to have a live aspect to them. Those would definitely be done in Loom. And I think people, like, if it's a course, they expect it to be a little bit more professional. I market my live trainings and my trainings as like pre-recorded trainings with the live Q&A at the end. But if it's not live, you don't need to film it live like that. One-on-one makes me nervous, but I think I could enjoy it. I think a little bit of nervousness is totally natural. But if you're like, wow, I'm going to barf and I don't want to do this, maybe test it out on a friend or a family member first to see how you could do it. And kind of just like get your flow with those. Because it's really important with one-on-ones to kind of have a flow for the conversation. So mine all start the same way. So I welcome them. I say, thank you. Like, I'm so excited to chat with you today. So the way that these work is For this next hour, you can ask me any question that you want. If you want to screen share and walk you through something, I can do that. If you want me to audit something for you, I can do that. So let me know where you want to start and we'll get started, right? I tell them what to expect. I tell them what I need from them at the very beginning. Like, it's not nerve-wracking for me anymore because I know exactly what I'm asking from them now. My bathroom wall is covered in sticky notes. Same. We actually just took all mine down in my office. My niche is teaching moms how to create and sell digital products so they can make money as a stay-at-home mom. Is that too broad? Where I get hung up is I also want to share my journey transitioning from working mom outside and home to a stay-at-home mom, daily motherhood life, our story with adoption, etc. But then if I'm teaching the problem of stay-at-home moms making money, I still need to share how to create and sell digital products. It feels chaotic because I'm multi-passionate too and feel like there's so many layers to my story. And so learning how to share that in a clear way is where I'm getting hung up. What would your advice be? Is that more of a personal brand where I share all that, or should I start multiple pages and test them out, like you said earlier? No, I think this would all be under one hub. I would say focus on sharing your story through the lens of your digital product, right? So you are, teaching people how to create digital products. So share your life and like the life you've been able to create because of those digital products. It doesn't feel chaotic to me at all. I think you just have to like practice and try sharing both at the same time to show them like, this is the life I get to live because of digital products. Someone wants to organize a mastermind in Paris. That's amazing. We need a training from you that in detail spoon feeds step-by-step show how to set up offers in a way to add upsells and do email marketing. Include sticky notes and how to lay out a live webinar, please. So I don't do, unless you're calling this a webinar, I don't do webinars. Like I call them live trainings, but maybe you meant this. But the PDF that you guys will get will definitely be like more steps and things to like avoid, because there are like little things like that. But you guys are sweet. Again, all of this is research. When I'm done with these live trainings, my VA goes in and pulls this and has it transcribed for me. And I go and we pull questions and I make sure that I'm using those questions for what I'm creating next. I have a Canva question. Is anyone able to answer this for me? I have the pro version and create templates and then sell the templates as Canva links. Are customers even able to print it out as the pro version without watermarks if pro elements are used? Yeah, I wish I knew the answer to that. Sorry, someone said that they think that they have to use remove the watermarks. How to make the contents clickable? Yes, Canva, you can do that. When you export it as a PDF, when you export your PDF, oh my gosh, when you export your ebook, it needs to be exported as a PDF, and then anything that you've linked in there will link. You just can't do it as a PNG. That won't work with links. Have you updated your digital product starter kit? I have it, but bought it before you were updating it back in October. Yes. There have been multiple little updates added. There's actually another one coming. I'm just like constantly adding things based on feedback. But you guys have the Google Drive link, so you will always have the most updated version in that link. I think my starting point is going to be for the person who loves to buy digital products, processes the information, and then can't bring it into reality. It's me. I'm the problem. Yeah, so someone asked, how do we get the updates for the digital product starter kit? Your Google Drive link will always have the most updated version. Do older customers get the newer updates or have to pay to upgrade? Nope, you always get it. Anything you bought from me, when I update it, you automatically get it. Okay, I have an online course that teaches the A to Z on dessert photography using a smartphone. I'm an ex-baker turned photographer during COVID-19. I teach how to use a smartphone to take beautiful photos of small business owners' desserts. My problem is the course needs a rewrite since I see where people still struggle. But should I now offer mini digital courses to adjust different topics such as backdrops, staging, lighting, etc.? This is where I'm stuck on how to move forward. Should I rewrite the entire course addressing issues or do mini tutorials? This is taught via Kajabi, via video format where I teach step by step. Someone said for lower ticket offers, it would be interesting to see how you can do the basics as the introduction and then added things to hone in their crafts. Yeah, I think that would be awesome to do like a smaller introduction one, maybe while you're revamping the bigger one, because if you've already put all this work into the bigger one, I'd say just do one smaller one and then keep selling the bigger one. You already put all this work into it. How do you recommend creating an updatable product? So this depends on what you're doing. So if it's a PDF, the way I do those is that when you buy a PDF from me, you get a Google Drive link. I have uploaded a PDF from Canva to that Google Drive link. When I make updates, I make them in Canva on the PDF, and then I export that again and I add it as a new version to the Google Drive link. That way you can always have that link and it will always be the latest version. Did you do prep work or follow up with one-on-ones like account audits or email recaps or email access? Nope. I created my product with what I could handle, and I did not have the capacity to do like hours and hours of prep work. So I leave a note for people in the one-on-one to say, like, if you have any information for me, you can send it my way. But most people just gave me like a little bit of background, and then the hour together is our time together. Can we start with a freebie and a $67 product instead of a $37 to $47 product? Yeah, absolutely. Again, do what works for you. That is how I launched things and worked really great for me. But if you want to skip to that offer, I go for it. I would just say definitely start with a freebie. What if right now I only have an idea for a freebie and one offer? Can I do it for a higher price point? My niche is helping people eliminate and overwhelm when swapping less toxic products. Yeah, I think you could go a little bit higher if you wanted for the first one. I think the benefit to starting lower is that like you're building trust for the next offers. But if you're like, shoot, I don't know what I'm going to offer next, you could, make your first one just a little bit bigger and really a little bit better. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I've bought $97 like guides on non-toxic baby products, things like that. What's the difference between a mastermind and a live training? Also, how much do you charge for mastermind? So live trainings are usually one time and a Q&A at the end. My masterminds were set up in a way where it was 6 weeks with weekly Q&As. And then we were in a Slack channel together, and they had Monday through Thursday access to me in the Slack channel. Like they could ask questions, and I would go in there like 2 or 3 times a day to respond to those questions. And my first round was $9.97. The second round was $19.97. So I launched it a little bit lower and then launched it one more time for a little bit more. If anyone lives, oops, sorry, that's not relevant. Sorry. Can you recommend any resources on how to launch your first mastermind? Format, structure. So that'll be in the link, going a little bit more detail. Again, with masterminds, like you need to think what you can handle, what you can deliver to people, and how to best serve people. Again, I want people to leave feeling like, wow, I paid this much money and I got way more than it was worth. I never want people to be like, wow, I invested all this money and literally got nothing from it. You know what I mean? So with masterminds, I think a lot of coaches tend to like, well, my term is worth $10,000, so it's going to be $10,000 and they can talk to me once a month if they're lucky. Like, I don't want that vibe. I want people to literally feel like, hot damn, this was awesome. I got 6 weeks together. And that's how I felt like the last one was. Like, I miss these ladies. I loved it. We all connected so well. It felt so good. I loved the group that I had, like, that we fostered, and it just felt really good. So I think just making sure that, like, if you're doing a mastermind, like, you're not taking advantage of people and you're making sure that it is worth it, while also still only offering what you have the capacity to do. I've seen some people do masterminds where they're like $297 and it's 6 weeks with 3 Q&As per week. And, every single day they're in Slack 9 or 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Like, it's outrageous amount of access. And I'm like, do you value your time? Like, do you have time to breathe, to eat, right? Like, I can't pour from an empty cup. So I came up with parameters that worked for me, right? Like, I wanted weekends off. I wanted to be able to like fully unplug on the weekends. and not have people needing things from me or expecting something from me, and then pricing it in a way where I felt like it was really worth it for people. I'm struggling with this one. I don't want my offers to compete with each other. I think that's why creating them like in a linear line of like, first this one, then this one is better than like, okay, I'm going to launch 7 offers at a time and see which one does well. Like, no, launch one at a time, see how it does, and then listen to people. I'm exiting one-on-one offers and masterminds. Love them, but they took up a lot of my energy and time. Yeah, they're hard. They're amazing and they're so rewarding, and I loved them, but it does take up a lot of energy. What time gap do you recommend for releasing products? I have 3 lined up now that you've taught us how to break them up. So I would launch it. I like to launch for a longer time. Like, I love having a product that I can talk about for a month. It just feels good for me. I like selling every day. It works. And then I like take a little bit of a breather afterwards, and then, you know, go back to like beginning of funnel, right? Top of funnel stuff where it's like new people. But I would say just give it time to like talk about the product. So like maybe 1 or 2 months for one, and then move on to the next one to like build your product suite out. I think I have the problem where my products may be competing against each other. I don't like a lot of people, most people that come to me that already have products have that issue. I see it all the time because they're just like trying to like find which one is better. And then they're like, well, my sales are low, so I'm just going to create a new product. And then they create a new product that's like almost identical to the first one. And then people are like, like a confused buyer doesn't buy. I saw a Stan video that mentioned selling personalized video responses for $5 to $10 in a parenting and relationship coach. Oh, I'm a parenting and relationship coach and get so many specific personalized questions from people. How should I handle XYZ? Do you think charging $5 for a personalized video response is a good idea? Or is that kind of tacky? Should I be offering this for free form DM? I would never do personal responses because that is not passive at all. And also when you know, price yourself at $5, like it feels like people are gonna be like, the people that you're going to attract are going to be people that like expect the world for $5. And I don't want to attract those type of people. And I wouldn't answer for free in DMs because it's not fair for you to answer a million personal questions like that, especially in your niche, right? Like something that you teach is like very unique to each person. Like you don't have time to answer for people for free. So what I would do instead is like when you get those questions, maybe have one-on-ones or have something where it's like group training where people can come. I know I've done like group webinars for things when I had my daughter, and like, I mean, I still have my daughter, but when she was a baby and I was like learning like how to night wean, I took a webinar and I loved it. It was so cool to like get my questions answered, learn other people's questions. Like the questions people were asking about night weaning, I was like, oh, that's genius. I never would have thought to ask that question. And it was cool. I loved like having a smaller group for those like live trainings to learn that. But I'm really not, I think like you'd set yourself up for failure with doing $5 responses. Cause like, what if you sell 100? Then you owe 100 people a response. Like that's a lot. That's a lot. And those things can very quickly feel really overwhelming. So I'd probably listen to the DMs and let people know, hey, like maybe give them like a quick answer. And then we could go over this more in my webinar, or set the boundary that you don't answer personal responses in your DMs. You kind of have to like pick one. I'm not very good about this. I try to like give people some sort of an answer, but like I would be on my phone 24/7 if I answered every single DM in depth that I know I could, right? Like I physically cannot do it. So now my approach is like, I encourage and I give a little bit of information, but I'm not like, here, let me solve all your problems for you. Unless you're my friend and I know you, because I just can't help myself with my friends. I'm like over the top, like, you need to do this. No, stop doing this. You need to do this. It's like, once you know it works, you can't stop. But again, you have to set boundaries, because I would be on my phone all the time. And like, that's not why I got into this. I got into this to impact more people while also being able to be home with my daughter. Okay. I look ridiculous when I'm trying to read the comments. I'm like blind. Would you move everything over to a Stan store if you already have a website? Only if you're going to be selling from social media And you can still link to your website in your Stan store. Stan is mainly for selling on your social media. So if you have a website and like you have SEO and people going there from Pinterest or searching you, like don't delete your website, just get a Stan store as well. Why is Stan store where everything should live? It should only all live there if you sell hard on social media. It just converts better. It's like geared for social media conversions, and the checkout is so fast. How do you know how much to discount an offer on each offer? Is there a rule? No, I just try and go for like the no-brainer discount. Like if I give you $2 off, whoop-de-doo, nobody cares. But if I give you $20 or $40 off, that's awesome, right? So I always try and think like as a consumer when I'm pricing, like what discount would be worth it for me, to make it feel like, okay, I need to get this because of the discount. Do you have to have premium Stan store in order to do bumps? Yes, you do. I would love to hear how you talk about, determine pricing. Curious why you price your Rich Girl Stories so much higher than Rich Girl Reels. So I'm not going to go super deep on this because pricing isn't really what we're talking about today. But like I said earlier, with pricing and anything that you're doing, you kind of just have to like choose something and move forward. I felt like Rich Girl Stories was like went into way more than just selling in your stories. It went into storytelling, and it's something that's like deeper than that to me. So I did price it a little bit higher because I felt like it needed to be priced higher. I also wanted Rich Girl Reels to be like a no-brainer price for the community and get more people in it. I love Rich Girl Reels. It is so much included. Like the challenge is 30 days with me, or 21 days with me, and a group. And like, I wanted that to be something that like built trust with people and they left it feeling like, oh my gosh. And then Rich Girl Stories is like the next step for them. But it, like I said, it goes deeper to me. Rich Girl Stories talks about story selling, and that's like a huge part of your business. And so, yeah, I knew I wanted to price it higher when it went evergreen. I did launch it at 97 when it was live. But in the marketing, I talk about how like when it goes into my shop, it will be 127, it will be more. So yeah, I also think there's something to pricing something a little bit higher and making people take it more seriously. I think people way undervalue storytelling and story selling. They are just like, yeah, whatever, selling your stories. Literally, my stories can make or break my sales, like double them some days, triple them some days. Like there is so much power in story selling. And I wanted that product to kind of like make people think a little bit really before they purchase, so that when they do buy it, they're like, okay, I really need to apply this one. So yeah, that's my thought process on pricing that one. What does your typical workday look like? What do you work on each day? It's different every single day, but my money-making tasks are my reels and my stories. And then I have a VA who helps me stay up on like little tasks. But I try and do reels and stories Monday through Friday. Sometimes I'll do them on weekends, but I don't have to if I don't want to. But those are my money-making tasks. I need to be adding emails in, but I'll get there. Can you make landing pages without putting them on your store? Yes. Stan Store has a spot for landing pages. You've made your freebie have one-time offer for a digital product kit, but it's not on your Stan Store at that price. Yep, that's a landing page with Stan. They're separate and you can't see them in your store. That's how I created all my order bumps too. They're all separate products in a landing page with a different price. That's how my pricing is different. Is there a free version of Stan? So there's a free 14-day trial if you sign up with my link, but other than that, there is no free version. So if you're like on a very tight budget, I would recommend like waiting until the last minute to get your Stan Store so you can take advantage of the free 14-day trial so that you can make that $29 back as quickly as possible. How do you recommend going back on what you've promised? I've been telling my audience that my simple homemaking systems guide is coming soon, but I realize that I need to start with my decluttering guide. Be open with them. Like I said, authenticity and like just being honest is way more powerful than just like, oh, maybe nobody will notice. No, just be like, hey guys, I realize that this needs to come first. So I'm shifting gears and we're doing this first. Like It doesn't need to be complicated. I'd say like, just be honest with them. Yes, you guys all try. Someone said it's good to hear it's trial and error. I mean, everything in business is trial and error. And when you look at things like that, instead of like, wow, I did this and I failed. No, you did something, you learned that this doesn't work, try a different way. Like, I don't see anything as a failure. I'm always just like, okay, great, that didn't work. What do I change? What do I do instead? Do you have the Amazon link? Just trying to give you credit. I will share that in the replay, but you guys are sweet. Okay, I've read it, but do you have any favorite pages? Why, yes, I do have favorite pages. 137, the naming chapter, enhancing the offer naming, one of my favorite ones. I use that every single time I name. And then page 29, he talks about Grand Slam offers. Love it. That's so funny. I literally have my two favorite pages flagged. I love that book so much. Okay, so someone said I bought Rich Girl Reels and Stories before I actually had any digital products made. So I was wondering if I'd be able to do the Reel Challenge with January Challenge once I create something. So that's a different challenge, but your challenge that you have with that one is still totally relevant. All the prompts, if you want to use trending audio, you would just pick different audios, but each challenge is connected to like which thing, like at what time you bought. So the challenge is still relevant. I have people from the first round that are just like redoing it and choosing new audios, and it's like performing great, right? Because there's prompts and things like that. So you can totally use the one that you got. I don't have the $100 million offer workbook. I'm not a workbook person. So if you are, get it if you want it, but like, I don't like workbooks. I was always that kid in school that was like, oh, we have to do a workbook with, like, I hate it. So it's just not me. Okay, someone who's at her first months of business in Instagram, do you suggest to start offering a freebie and a $37 or a freebie on one-on-one coaching? Or both. I'd say go with the freebie and one-on-one coaching because you can get that up like almost immediately, right? With a $37 product, like you have to spend time creating that. But I think it's great doing the one-on-one first to see like what people want and what you can create in your product. I'm a 3-time entrepreneur. I sold my learning company and now help entrepreneurs launch their small business. My story, I'm an immigrant from Africa, had malaria, didn't speak English, moved to London, got a scholarship, went to uni, married, divorced, lost money, ended up back in my childhood home, built and sold my 3rd company, have a real estate portfolio. I have a lot of knowledge to help other women do the same, but I'm too nervous about sharing my story and being vulnerable. Any advice? If you want to go this route, you have to be able to share your story. Like that's your connecting point. And if it's something that you're like, hey, I don't want to do my story, like you'll have to find a different way. Like maybe finding companies and selling them, like, or starting them and selling them is something that you're passionate about. Do that. But if you want to help other women and help them do the same thing, like you have to feel comfortable. You have to find a way to feel comfortable to share your story. And it's hard, but learning how to do that comes with trying. Like I wasn't comfortable at first. My first Instagram reel was like so bad. We all just learn by doing things. I didn't just wake up and become a great content creator. Not that I'm saying I'm a great content creator, but I didn't just like wake up one day and be good at talking to the camera. Can I whip out a talking head video in 5 minutes now? Yeah, I can, but I didn't start off like that. Becoming good and comfortable at something comes with practice. Do you get a lot of customer complaints when they purchase digital products out of order, then they realize they could have gotten them at a discount with the one-time offer? No, it's pretty clear that the offer is there. And like people who reach out and they're like, hey, I got this a few months ago, but I didn't do the order bump. Can I get the order bump pricing? I honor it. I have no problem with that. But I don't really get a lot of upset people because I think that's like pretty clear. Like if you wanted that, or they're like, hey, I bought this. I didn't know that there was a one-time offer. Like I'll honor things like that. I have no issue with that. In your opinion, what are the advantages of a live training instead of a pre-recorded course? Do live trainings sell more than non-live offer in your experience? I don't really have any comparison because I've done way more live trainings. But I think for me, the advantages is that like I can get you better results by answering your questions, right? Like if you had just listened to this training and nobody got their question answered, it wouldn't be the same thing, right? You came to this training knowing that anything that you needed further question or answers on, you could ask me here, right? And I think people show up differently in a live. I wouldn't talk the same in a pre-recorded thing. I wouldn't have the same energy. When I'm doing these live trainings, I know you're on the other end, and I'm like so excited that you're on the other end, and I love it, and it like lights me up. And when I'm doing these Q&As, I can see your faces and your smiles when I make a dumb joke. Like there's a different energy to it. So I love it, and it's easier for me to sell that because I don't have anything else right now where they could get, you know, a Q&A with me, right? I don't offer one-on-ones. I don't currently have a mastermind. Like this is the only spot people can like come and hang out with me pretty much. So it is a little bit of an easier sell for me. What if your audience never asks anything or responds to question boxes? You kind of have to train them to do it. That's not something that just you wake up one day and everyone's going to answer. You have to go first. You have to be open with your audience if you want them to be open with you. My mom and my husband answered my question boxes for months. That's just kind of how it is at the beginning. And I've been open with you guys. Like I'm honest through the hard times. I share when I'm like struggling. I share when I'm doing well. Like I share it all so that when I ask you to share, you feel comfortable sharing with me, right? Like you share with me because I share with you. It has to be like a two-way thing, and it doesn't start off like that. How many times can I say, I am a 3-time entrepreneur, left my corporate job. I sold my learning company. Oops. Oh, wait, no, it's a different question. And now help female entrepreneurs launch their small business. How do you nurture your email list? Do you drip email sequences? I already have newsletters. It's a juggle. I'm not the person to ask for that yet. I'm working on it still. But with email lists, you could do a welcome sequence that, you know, they get out over a certain amount of weeks to do all the nurturing for you. And then after that, I'd probably do once a week if you can. I think once a week is great. I've been really bad about that, but Hillary Kruger is like the go-to for email stuff. And she will be guest teaching with me when we do Rich Girl emails. So yay. In the live challenges, Rich Girl Reels, when there isn't the live challenge, how do you handle it? Do people receive only the training, or they can also jump into the next live Rich Girl Reel challenge eventually? Yep. So I sell the challenge up until like a few days into it. I don't go super far. I don't sell that same challenge once we're past a certain amount of days, because then people feel really behind. But so now when you buy Rich Girl Reels, you'll get the training right away. And then it states like, hey, the next challenge for this is in January. I'm still working out how to make it evergreen. I don't know if I can do it and have the same effect. We'll see. You'll see if I do that. I love the training and I love the challenge, but like, I don't have the capacity to come up with these ideas for a whole year, right? Like it's a lot of work from me for the challenge part. But it also like gets incredible results for people because they're like inside of my brain learning how and why I do things. So, but yeah, right now, if you join, you'll get to be in the January challenge, but you get the training right away. What's your approach when a customer wants a refund? I have a no refund policy. It's in my terms and conditions. It's on the page. I even have something that says I don't guarantee results because I don't want to attract people that are like, if I don't get the same results of XYZ, I want my money back. Like, I don't want to even attract people like that. So I'm very clear. If they approach me for a refund for a reason that's like, hey, I accidentally bought twice, of course I'm going to refund. Well, you know what I mean? Like, I try and treat refunds with logic. If someone's like, hey, I bought this and I changed my mind, I let them know like, hey, I don't offer refunds when you purchase this. Do you like agree to terms and conditions? Like, is there anything I can do to help you further? Something like that. But I do stick to my policies and I'm kind to people. I don't, but I do stick to my policies that I say. Have you helped people to increase sales without Stan? I have Teachable and have spent so much time making my online resin courses on there. I would keep Teachable then. Just find a way to have a pretty landing page on social media. You can still use Stan and like have people sign up through Teachable. What's your strategy about what's your strategy about pricing strategy regards to launching? Okay, I probably should have clarified. I didn't in the beginning that if you guys can try and keep your questions related to the offers, That would be awesome. I did forget to say that earlier, so I will answer these, but if you're answering or asking questions as we go, if you could create them, oh my gosh, if you could keep them related to the offer, since that's what this training is about, I'd really appreciate it. But for pricing, I always give early bird a discount, and I make it a good discount. Like, I'm not like, yeah, $5 off if you sign up for the wait. No, like $50 or, you know, 200 if it's a big product. Obviously it depends on like how much you're launching at. Like if I'm launching a $27 thing for the waitlist and then it's $37 after, that makes sense. But if I'm launching a $397 course and I launch it at $390 for the waitlist, like that doesn't make any sense. There's no incentive. So it's more about the incentive for people. I currently have 2 monthly subscription groups that bring in approximately 10K a month. I would like to create single courses that are easier to accomplish and solve one problem at a time. Any ideas on how to do this without overworking and still giving current students my best? So you could do something where you sell what's inside the membership one at a time, but then if they want everything, they have to get in the membership. That's probably how I would do that if I had a membership. So like maybe launch things to the public, but if you're in the membership, you get it for free. That way you're not like doing double work. If you have a small button in Stan, oops, sorry, it moves when you guys comment. If you have a small button in Stan Store that leads to a Flowdesk form for your freebie, how do you add in the Stan order bump? So that is through Flowdesk. So if you have a Flowdesk form and that's your freebie, and then you want the one-time offer, you need to create a landing page in Stan. When you're done creating that landing page, go to the form in Flowdesk. And at the end of that form, if you guys have Flowdesk, you know that like at the end, you have to like check, like, do you want a double opt-in? Do you want this? Like there's a few check marks before you can like have the form be live. I believe it's the last one that says, do you want a success page or do you want to redirect to a URL when they're done signing up? You want to redirect to the landing page URL for your one-time offer. That's how I do that using Flowdesk and Stan. As far as building your offer suite, do you recommend setting up Flowdesk then Stan Store? Can you capture email in Stan Store? You can capture in Stan. I still use Flowdesk just because it's like more of a powerhouse. Stan email is great if that's like all you can afford or you want everything in one spot, but I still like Flowdesk. It just looks better. To me, in my opinion, it's a little bit nicer. And I started with Flowdesk before Stan had emails, so I never had that option. And now I'm not going to take my whole list and take it to Stan. Like there's no way. It's like so many things set up in Flowdesk already. Like I would be wasting so much time trying to convert it back. So I use Stan email for things like today, when you guys got the email reminder about that, that was through Stan because you guys all purchased through Stan. So then I could literally just go in and go to emails, broadcasts, right? And select everyone who's purchased this and send you an email super quickly, right? Like those things I do use it, but for my regular email marketing and my email list, I collect everything directly through Flowdesk. Are there order bumps that are only available as a bump and not as a standalone? Yep. There can be. Mine are all offered as a standalone as well, but you could totally do it where it's not anywhere else if you wanted. Someone said, are you ready to do an email marketing training? It's funny seeing comments that happened before I started talking. What do you think of having a secret upsell menu of products that only offers an order bump on some of your products? Only available. Yeah, I think it's great. Test it out and see which one works better. I don't have the capacity to like create things that are only order bumps as well as all my offers. So I just use my offers as order bumps and I think it works really well. How much less do you offer as a discount when you launch for the first time in the original price? And when you make the order bumps, how much do you offer as a discount or is there a rule? So already answered this one earlier. How to approach your audience when it's been your personal Instagram with a smaller following and ask for feedback. Should I wait to ask questions until I get a followers interested in offers? No, I would start setting the tone now. Like if you're starting from personal and switching, like you need to start treating this page as your personal one. So set the tone now that that's what it's going to be about. If I'm starting a new account and a new offer, how early in advance should I start creating content around the product and teasing it? The second you know it's coming, start teasing it. The second you start creating it, start teasing the background and talking about it. I think you can start audience building while you are creating the product. Would it be a good idea to start creating content and wait lists until my product is ready? Yeah, you absolutely could. I've noticed that wait lists like aren't as powerful on your first product. Like they still work really well, but wait lists do the best in my opinion when it's like a second launch or a third, because people already trust you. They know, and they're like, wow, I'm so excited for this. But you could totally do that. I'm currently in Rich Girl Reels and Rich Girl Stories, and I love the offer I'm selling for $97. I haven't had sales for this $97 manifestation bundle since doing the Rich Girl Reels challenge. So I'm wondering what I can tweak to get these sales going. So there's multiple things that could be going wrong, or not going wrong, just not going the way you wanted to. So I would check your ManyChat automatic responder. I would check your sales page. I would also take into account that like if people haven't been exposed to this offer before, it might just take some time to sell the offer. If there's no like real like urgency in it, right? Like if it's open all the time, people might take a little bit longer to purchase it. So there's a lot of different things you can audit when you're not making sales. For freebie, would you use a little snippet if a longer course idea, but you have to go in depth on it? Not sure if that makes sense. Yep. So your freebie can totally be like the first step to get them like excited for the next thing. What if your area of expertise where you have the most experience is an industry you are trying to move away from and not pursue anymore with your life or time? This is where I'm struggling because I feel like I have all my experience where I could offer products and teach people something I just don't want to do anymore. Don't do it. Find something else. Find a passion, document your passion, and see if people are interested in that. If you don't want to do it, like it's not even an option. Don't even consider that as an option anymore. And yes, maybe it might take a little bit longer learning something new and sharing that journey, but I think it's worth it to find something that you are passionate about. What's the benefit of using Stan rather than your own website? So talked about this a few times already, but it's just, it converts better on social media. Any recommendation to learn more about marketing books? Anything by Alex Hormozy. I'm not really a huge marketing book person. I like to read, or I like to like learn by watching people. So I like to follow people whose like marketing I love and like be excited about what they're offering, you know? But I tend not to follow people in my niche. I like to follow people outside of my niche whose marketing I really like, just to like see what they're doing and like how they're doing things. It's super fascinating to me. But for books, I like very tangible books, and Alex's are very tangible. So I don't have very many other suggestions for that. I could probably find some, but okay, I've heard you talk about waitlists. How do you do that? Can I do it in Stan? I have a freebie, so I haven't been able to make a waitlist without erasing my freebie. You don't need to erase your freebie. You would just need to create a separate thing for them to sign up for your waitlist. With Stan, you would have to kind of position it as a freebie the way they have it set up and just say, this is a waitlist. Like get on the waitlist here. Do you have any expertise with Hotmart? Nope, I have no idea what that is. Sorry. Can you do funnels through Stan? Yes, they have a funnel feature. I don't use it because the simpler the better for me, and I like the order bumps better. I just started a new account yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out how to start growing it. My Stan store has 2 freebies, a general Kickstarter to choosing your topic, and one specific to people in healthcare, and a couple of paid products. Would you focus first on just promoting the freebie to get more engagement and follows, or should I be promoting paid products alongside it? I think you could start with the freebie and sprinkle in the paid. Just focus on storytelling and like why people should follow you, why they should connect with you as well, not just selling when you first start, right? Because again, connection needs to come first. When is the right time to launch your first digital product? I mean, do followers and having a hot audience matter? Absolutely. How many followers did you have when you launched your first digital product? So followers, like you don't need to have thousands. I think it's more important to have hot leads and hot followers than it is to have thousands of followers at first. But don't use the excuse that I don't have enough followers to launch. If you're someone that's like, dude, I just need to get this out into the world, get it out into the world and learn how to sell it when it's out there. Don't panic about having enough hot leads, but it will help if they're hot and they're, they know something is coming and they're excited. My TikTok had 11,500 followers when I launched my product, I believe. It wasn't like a crazy huge amount. What's your strategy for prepping your audience for the offer? Talking about it while I build it, or now I can do things where what I did with Rich Grow Reels, where I didn't tell people what it was. And I told them it was launching in a week and they'd been asking for it. And that was really fun and exciting. I'd never done that before. It was really, really fun, but usually I just tell them it's coming. I start talking about it, hyping it up, do behind the scenes of you making it. Is Stan Store in place of a website, or do you need both? Depends on how you're selling. I only have a website for Pinterest marketing. I don't send people to my website. Teachable offers bundles, which I have. How do I do an upsell on a bundle? Would you discount it more? That's a personal preference. Like if it's already a bundle, I don't know that you would need to offer upsells to it. Because they're already like bundling a bunch of products. But again, with discounts, don't overthink it. Just make it be like a no-brainer offer. If you're offering something for $97 and you give them a discount of $5, they're not going to really feel like that's much, right? The higher the price, the bigger the discount needs to be. Do you offer a product that shows how to use ManyChat and how to create funnels? ManyChat has a lot of trainings on their site. I am not an expert at ManyChat. I took a training with School of Bots. Her name is Natasha. She is incredible. They are like the most incredible company ever for ManyChat trainings. It was definitely an investment, but I learned so much from them. I'd already been using ManyChat before, but I really kind of like learned how much more it could do. But ManyChat is a beast. There is a lot you can do. And it's just not my passion. I don't really want to create things that I'm not passionate about. And there's Natasha of School of Bots, who I'd recommend for that. And again, ManyChat has a lot of trainings on their website. You kind of just have to dig for them. Does a personal brand have to be my name, or can be a catchy brand name? That's totally up to you. I just think that using your personal name gives you more flexibility. How important is an email list? Very important. You guys, when my TikTok went down, thank goodness I had built my email list first, because the next month, almost all of my sales came from my email list instead of TikTok, because I had no TikTok for it took like 3 weeks. I ended up like 4 days in just starting a new one, because I was like, great, I'm never going to get this back. I started over because I was just so like, I didn't know if I was ever going to get it back. But had I not had my email list, like my business would have just disappeared from the internet. But I had my email list. I sold really hard on there for a few weeks. And I think I ended up making like 9,000 that month, which was like amazing considering my whole account just got taken down, like where I'd built my entire audience. So definitely get your email set up. I know it can feel confusing at first. I hate MailChimp with a passion. I will never, ever use it. Flowdesk is not the easiest to learn, but it's by far the most user-friendly for the beginners. But with anything new, it takes time. Like we just got this new mat this week. And it's like a PEMF mat, and there's like all these million bajillion buttons. And when we first got it, I was like, I'm never going to learn how to use this. This is so hard. Like I was complaining. My husband was like, it's just like 3 buttons. Like you just do this, this, and that. And I was so overwhelmed by these buttons. Like it's the most ridiculous thing. And then like I read the instructions. He showed me a few times and I was like, oh, I can do this. This is super easy, right? So I know that like with anything new, it's super hard and discouraging at first to just feel like, wow, there's a million things I need to learn. But like the more you're in it, the more you will understand it. Additional suggestions or questionnaire to help hone down on your niche. So everything that we did yesterday or earlier, like I said, you guys will be able to print it out and do it. Like I said, with your niche, you have to just like move forward with something. I feel like a lot of people just get hung up on things and they're like, I don't know what to do. And it's like, have you moved forward on anything? Like pick something and move forward with it and learn from that. And if you want to change your mind, you can change your mind, but like you're much better off picking something, moving forward and learning than you are just like sitting in this place of, I don't know what to do. What next step do you recommend for someone who can't think of anything to offer? A million passions, but mostly faith-based things. But that's so broad. Also feel weird selling stuff regarding faith without a theology degree. I don't think you should feel weird about that. There are lots of people who sell things without a degree, and you can sell faith-based things that aren't like, you don't need theology for. So I would do some market research, see what other people are selling, and see if you can get inspired by that to come up with some ideas. My question is, I'm a small real estate investor in Puerto Rico, Mexico. I'm also a real estate agent, not currently selling. I've seen some success with selling a digital product video masterclass for first-time investors in Puerto Vallarta. I also have been seeing some success on YouTube for real estate lead generation referral. I'm passionate about both, but definitely have more of an audience interested in real estate in Puerto Vallarta. Man, I can't talk, sorry guys. However, I feel that YouTube for real estate has more potential in numbers. How would you go about selling products for both? I wouldn't. I would pick one and go really hard on one. If you're trying to build two businesses at once, they're both going to take infinitely longer to build. If you pick one and you solve that problem first, and like choose that audience first, because you're right, that's two completely different audiences. I wouldn't try to do both. I would start with one and go really hard on that. Okay. Someone said, do you focus on one product to sell each month? But I've already answered this. Yeah, I switch back and forth. Do you use Pinterest? I do, but it's not me. I hired someone to help with that because I don't know anything about Pinterest. I mean, I know how to like set up your account and what I did at the beginning just to like get my stuff out there, but Pinterest is a long game thing and it's not something that I'm passionate about. So I don't go really in detail on it. What do you think about doing a giveaway to encourage growth and engagement? Since I have a couple of paid offers already, I'm wondering if I should do a giveaway for one or both of them to grow my account faster. Do you think that's generally helpful or not a good idea? I don't like growing my account with giveaways. I feel like doing giveaways just like give back to your community or incentivize them to give you an answer to something maybe, but like giveaways to grow just feels like I'm growing full of people who are only there to win something. And like, that's not what I want. I would much rather have less followers, but like the right followers. And I just feel like the influencer ones work because like people keep doing those, right? They keep doing giveaways and they keep attracting people who are engaging only for that. But like that benefits an influencer because they need the engagement, right? I don't care as much about engagement. I care more about sales and serving my community. So I don't know, giveaways, I've just never been a huge fan. I teach multiple things on my social media, such as UGC, personal branding, edition, even ads. Do I need an offer suite for them all, or do you recommend summarizing one product? I'd probably have different offers for each one, kind of under one hub, but that is a lot of different things to offer. So I might kind of narrow it down maybe a tad more, because if you offer like multiple things, that's just a lot of different audiences. It's a little bit harder. Do you think sales conversions will be the same using Kajabi? No. I can create a landing page in Kajabi that can look similar to Stan Store layout. I've used Kajabi forever and I know it through and through. I'm having everything in one spot. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think Kajabi is probably the closest thing. I still think Stan is better, but Maya Nicole does landing pages with Kajabi really, really, really well. So I think it's possible. I still think that Stan is better for landing pages though, for social media conversions. My niche is career growth for women. My free product, I'm thinking of how to make sure you're working for a company that will have opportunities for growth. $37 offer, thinking about a career growth calendar where each month is focused on a particular area for growth. Question, would you do the $67 or $90 offer of taking specific areas within the 12-month calendar? That would give me a different area to focus on each month. I might do like a $67, maybe like a live training each month. That would be fun. And that would be a great way to add some urgency, like real urgency, because once the live training is over, like the next month is the next one that you're promoting. So that would be probably my suggestion for that. Is it possible to solve my own problem? I'm a microblader and I want to spend more time with my family, so that is why I'm starting digital product biz. I feel like I'm not the only one when working one-on-one in person. It's exhausting, so naturally helping others create a digital product interests me so much. As long as you're teaching from a place of learning at the beginning, or I should say sharing from a place of learning, you could also teach other like service-based people in your industry how to create a digital product around what they do after you've done it. But again, I wouldn't teach something that you haven't learned yourself. I would start from sharing your journey and what you're doing. And then like, as you see success, you can share that and start teaching more. But you'll have more credibility if you're coming from a place of sharing what you're doing. So technically, yeah, you're solving your own problem and then taking them along for the journey at first. I want to teach people how to start a podcast, from a website creation, equipment, and helpful strategies to stay accountable. I think that's great. There are lots of things out there, which just means that it's something people want. Whenever I see like people offering certain things that I know I want to offer something similar, like that literally just means that like it's a valid offer and people are asking for it. Like I have 2 podcast courses. I don't have them, like I've purchased them because I want to launch a podcast next year. Like, I think that's great. Oh, you're so sweet. This is legit gold. You're a gem. Never change, Abigail. You're the realest person on the internet. You guys are so sweet. What do you think? I should start a new account on Zero or keep the one I have with 1K followers? I'll be shifting from my IG being a portfolio of my work to selling a digital product. Those are so different. So I'd probably do 2 if you still want to get clients from your first one. How do I get people results if it's surrounding health? If I'm making digital products surrounding gut healing, how can I really get them to results to get the next steps? It can be tricky. I took a course on gut healing and I loved it. It was a video course and it walked me through like the right groceries, the supplements they recommended, and it literally changed my life. And it like had food things in there. They had some recipes for me. Like I loved it. I think with that type of stuff, it's important for your content to like really encourage and inspire people to keep going and to keep pushing and keep finishing the program so they can feel good when they're done. I've been struggling after 5 months trying to reach non-followers to sell my products. I've made multiple 5 figures. However, I'm hustling for the sales. I'm in your Rich Girl Reels. I honestly buy everything you offer. Just love how authentic you are. So appreciated. Thank you. Just curious how you change the trajectory so that this business becomes truly passive. Well, it's never truly passive, like ever. And anyone who says it is lying through their teeth. Is it mostly passive at times? Absolutely. Could it be way more passive? Yes, but I'm like really passionate about what I do and I love what I do. So like I probably work more than I need to. But it's never truly passive. Like that doesn't exist with this type of work. But I will say, hone into who your content is going to, right? So if my content is going to more of my audience at the time, right? I try and present offers that my audience doesn't have yet. If I'm going out to new people, like maybe my account's like reaching a ton of people, I'm going to talk about my tried and true offers that I already, that are newer and I know that they don't have yet. So kind of leaning into who your content is being shown to, but it's never truly passive. I always like to say it's like mostly passive, right? I really try not to use the word like passive income, because is it more passive than a lot of other jobs? Absolutely. But like, you still have to sell the product. You create it once. Yes, it's amazing. I love that. But like, you still got to sell it in order for you to make sales every day, right? If you've talked about this before, I apologize, but tips for starting on TikTok. So I'm not really going to go into that today, but Styla Socials is amazing for TikTok. She is like my favorite TikTok creator. She's who I learned so much for, and she is a true expert. I'm not really on TikTok as much anymore, so I don't really feel like I have the latest and greatest new things on TikTok. It's a very the app is evolving constantly. So Styla Socials on TikTok is my favorite for that. How can you guarantee results? You can't. I mean, some people do, and they have like guarantees and you get your money back, but like there's like all sorts of terms and conditions. I never guarantee results, because at the end of the day, you could learn the most amazing information from me. If you don't apply it, it's not going to work. Like, and people apply it and it works in different ways for other people. So I want to make a digital product around how to help physical, occupational, and speech therapists transition to a non-clinical job because there's so much healthcare burnout. This process can take a while, and I'd hate for my students to feel like they're failing. Also, is this too niche? I don't think it's too niche if you think that people in your industry need it. But I wouldn't guarantee things. I would be very clear that like you can help them, and you can, show them how to do something faster, but like there's no guarantee in life in anything. And to me, it just feels like false advertising, even offering like money back guarantees, because there's literally no guarantee. If you start a niche and you want to switch, how do you recommend making that migration with the actual community? Being open and honest and letting them know multiple times that you're doing this and why you're doing it. You're gonna have to repeat things multiple times. Vimeo. Yes, Vimeo was the paid name of the app I couldn't think of for if you don't want to do a YouTube unlisted videos to share replays for classes like this. Vimeo would be the option. That's another one you could do, but it's paid. And like I said, I am very much a long-term thinker. Like I'm not thinking, okay, right now I'm making a ton of money each month, so let's spend it all on new things and like have all the best. I'm thinking, okay, if in a year I get pregnant and I'm deathly sick and we have to scale my business way back, like, am I going to be paying $10,000 a month and all these features? No. So like I am a long-term thinker. So I try and do as much stuff that like makes sense for, even if I was only making $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month, right? Like I don't treat my business like it's making what it is in revenue, because if I did, like if something ever scales back, I'm in big trouble. So I definitely think more long-term with things like that. I'm about to launch my first digital product that teaches people how to build and implement a family culture. Having a family culture solves a lot of problems people are looking to be solved, but nobody is looking specifically to create a family culture. The term is unfamiliar to most. Do I avoid calling it a family culture until the actual product and use layman terms in my content marketing? Absolutely. Nobody's going to know what you're talking about if you say family culture. You need to talk about the outcome and what it's going to be. And if that is the name of your book, I might consider changing it to something that is like very clear on what it's going to do for them. When you say family culture, my brain's like, I got no idea what you're talking about, like what the outcome is going to be. I think people need it, and I think it'd be an amazing product, but I do think you need to speak way more simply how people are actually talking. Thoughts on traveling with kids as a niche? We just moved to Germany for military and had our third kiddo. We are traveling a lot, but I've also been traveling with my older two since my 5-year-old daughter was 6 months old. I've seen a few successful creators do this. The only thing with that is like, it's not part of your if it's not part of your everyday life, it's just a little bit harder to get content. So definitely just consider that before you decide to go all in on that or not. How do we determine the value of what we are creating within the frame you've given us? I'm overthinking and I'm scared of charging too much. Then I'm actually working on the digital product and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm selling this for so cheap. Yeah. So I don't really think as much as the value. I try and focus on the outcome that it can get for people, right? Obviously, it's going to be valuable. Obviously, it's going to be so much. But again, I want them to walk away from it feeling like, holy cow, I cannot believe that I paid this much and got this result for the people who actually do it, So that's how I try to approach pricing. Don't overthink it. You're definitely overthinking it. Feeling a little bit lost with my offers. My niche is holistic anxiety healing recovery, and I have my main product is the ultimate anxiety healing guide for beginners. Is this too vague? Ultimate anxiety healing. I would do something more on like how to heal your anxiety with XYZ. Like the more specific, the better with these types of things. And then you can go into like more detail of what you're teaching. I'm a social media strategist in advertising for the last 6 years, 10 social media, 10 in social media. I work with musicians locally and I feel so much imposter syndrome selling social product or interested as I'm a 30-year-old millennial. In the world of social, how do I position myself as an expert in an ever-changing landscape? I guess I'm scared that the market is so saturated. I mean, I never believe in oversaturation. I feel like there's room for everyone. We all have our own story. We all have our own way to offer things. If I, thought like this, I wouldn't have built all this. There are tons of people doing what I do. Do they do it how I do it? Absolutely not. Do I do it how they do it? Absolutely not, right? Like we each have our own take on things. You don't need to position yourself as the expert per se. You just need to position yourself as the person that is a few steps ahead of the person who wants to learn from you. So I wouldn't let that hold you back. Rich girl emails. Oh, Taylor, you're sweet. She called me a genius, you guys. I wouldn't say that, but that was cute. I have 12K followers on Instagram, but I took an extended break from posting this year to regroup. Do you recommend starting fresh with a new Instagram or a restart on my current account? I would just start back up with your current account. You do not need to restart it. I'm a postpartum nurse who's created a pregnancy and baby planner that helps expecting parents get ready to have their baby. It's jam-packed with 200 pages with links, a private podcast, and mini courses. I've spent the last year or so creating it, and now it's not selling that well. Thanks to Rich Grow Reels, I have made some sales, but now I'm contemplating splitting it up. Splitting up the large planner into smaller guides and solve specific problems. Ding, ding, ding. That's exactly what I would suggest you do. It can feel kind of overwhelming when it's like a huge thing. I know for me as a first-time mom, I was very I wanted to solve one problem at a time. And I didn't want to buy something with like a million problems being solved because I wasn't ready for that. So definitely break it up. Does this sound like a better idea? Yes, absolutely. What's the difference between IG growth and Rich Grow Reels? Do they teach different things? I just wonder if you include Reels in your IG growth one as part of the IG growth. Yes, I do. But if you've taken both, you know that IG growth is the foundational work. Rich Grow Reels goes way more in depth. And there's a challenge included where it's 21 days of prompts and community. And I'm in the Facebook group all the time. So they work well together, and it's teaching a similar idea to what I talk about a little bit in IG growth, but Rich Grow Reels goes so much more in depth. There's also a whole hour training on teaching you how to create the Rich Grow Reels as well. How do you determine what a good freebie? The first step in the process is your freebie. And then asking people, you could A/B test. So create 2 freebies that you think would do really well. Whichever one is downloaded more, push that one more. I'm a travel advisor. I sell 5K plus trips, but I'm trying to do a PDF travel planner for people to use their own for less expensive trips. So I can take only take a few one-on-one clients. I'm thinking this would allow me to help more people. Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great way to be able to take on less one-on-one clients. My question is about niching down. I'm a children's book author and I write social and emotional learning fiction picture books. Personally, I'm a mom of a nearly 6-year-old. I have ADHD and identify with moms who don't consider themselves perfect. Struggling each day to be on time for school, struggling with the lunchbox, having loads of fun with your child. And that's a group of women I want to serve. Could my niche be perfectly imperfect mom? My digital product idea is how to effectively parent your child with explosive or oppositional defiant behaviors or ADHD. I am personally passionate about this, and it's something I feel contribute to people. Does this fit with the perfectly imperfect mom niche? I think your brand could kind of be a perfectly imperfect mom, and then the digital product would make sense within that brand 100%. I have 3 copies of $100 million offers. That's hilarious. I love that book. I've bought multiple and given them to people. I just love it. How do I turn, if I can go from food stamps, stressed, sad, miserable as a stay-at-home mom to 10K moms as a stay-at-home mom, you can too, into a product. So being clear on your end goal and just telling your story of where you started, right? My founder story involves my husband having strokes. I hate that that's part of my founder story, but it is. It's a huge part of my founder story and why I had this push to create this business. So every once in a while, I tell that story and why I got started. But figuring out the actual product is just going to be the first step to what you did and how people can do that as well. I'm a homeschool mom, full-time RVer, travel in country, and work from home. I have a daughter with inattentive ADHD that I've become an advocate for helping parents identify symptoms and how to parent them, homeschool them, stand up for them in public schools. I also love teaching people how to use social media for business. I can't figure out how to pull all this together. I would pick one and go with it. Those are very, very separate things. I would pick one that you're more passionate about. Just keep in mind that like you have to be sharing about it every day. You don't want to be sharing about like things about your daughter and like those struggles every day. Like I would go with the other one. That's another reason I didn't choose the motherhood route, because I'm like, I don't want Charlie to have her life plastered on social media. Like, what if she doesn't want that? What if she grows up and she's like, hey, I'm a private person. I don't want that. So I didn't want to build a brand that like required my family to be a part of it in such a deep way, right? Like I talk about little things that we do with her. Like I show her a little bit, not a whole lot. But like my brand doesn't rely on showing her. So keep that in mind when you're deciding. I've had a couple of reels go viral with lots of comments for the product. It's not converting like I think it should. What should I fix first? The ManyChat autoresponder that you're sending, your sales page, and sell more in your stories. You need people to have another, interaction with it. And sometimes the first time they see something, they're not ready to buy it. So get it in front of them more. Advice for funneling your audience from TikTok to Instagram. You could do a call to action in your bio saying, follow me here too if you want. I'm a pro photographer and hoping to create a digital product for moms to take better photos of their kids. Wondering if you think that's too wide of a problem because there's so much to taking a good photo, or is that a good problem to solve? I've seen courses, I've like been targeted to courses on that with ads. So I totally think it'd work. You might want to get a little bit more specific, but I do think that's something that moms need to learn, especially if you're teaching them how to do it with an iPhone too. I don't know where to even begin. I'm obsessed with relatable mom life, affordable finds. I work for a network marketing company. I love teaching simple makeup. I'm obsessed with organization and love spreadsheets. My team asks me about the system I use, how I set it up, how I keep track of follow-ups, etc. So I want to create a digital product on it, but I don't know how to market it to my current audience. I mean, if your current audience is other social sellers, market it to them. Like tell them how you can help them make their social selling business even better. What would you recommend for a book lover to create? I'm stuck. It totally depends on what you think your audience wants. Like I like reading, but I'm not like a book lover. So I don't know, maybe like a book club. If you want to have like a community aspect to it, that would be really fun. But it really depends on what type of audience you want to build around that and like what they want to learn from someone who is in a book club. I mean, who loves reading books. What if you started an Instagram based on one niche, but decide you want to transition to a new niche with under 300 followers or less than 50 reels created? Do I start a new Instagram or can I transition this one to update the name? Will it still be successful? To add, some of the reels already created relate to the niche. I just want to go into motherhood and other sorts of related, getting out of your comfort zone, going for your true passions, but not as narrowed down as that particular niche. I think you can keep the same one. There's no way to know if it's going to be successful or not, starting over or starting from that one. So I would just stick with that one. Honestly, why start all the way over if you don't have to? Have you seen success with students creating digital products around love, relationships, or mental health? Digital products about earning money are usually successful since you're selling a tangible outcome, but how would you recommend selling a service? So you really need to focus on the outcome of it. The students that I have that are successful around these things, they're not selling a digital product on love and relationships. They're selling a specific product on how to heal a broken relationship, how to, become closer with your spouse using XYZ, right? It's just getting more specific. I think obviously selling products on how to make money are always going to be successful, in my opinion, right? Everybody wants to make money. But also you're hearing about how people are doing that with their success. You're not hearing other niches saying, I'm doing XYZ as a homesteader, right? Like I have a student that is a homesteader who's like making thousands of dollars every month teaching people how to homestead. Like hers has nothing to do with making money and she's absolutely killing it. So I wouldn't let your brain think that only those products are successful. But there are lots of people selling things around mental health and relationships and things like that. Again, it's just very specific to the problem they are solving for people. I'm stuck at around 4,000 followers for years, then upped to 23K with Rich Crew Reels, so it's possible to grow even with an old account. Mine's at 6 or 7 years old. Dude, that's amazing, Taylor. That's awesome. Is health and wellness a niche? So I would consider health and wellness like a broad thing that you're under, right? Like your account could be around health and wellness, and then your niche needs to be like the specific things that you go into within that. Not sure if niche is like all things weight loss, all things mold, thyroid. So again, you'll just want to like pick something specific to start with. I've seen some accounts like do it all, but I find that like the ones, in my opinion, that perform better are the ones that like focus on like certain topics within health and wellness. So like if you're doing, weight loss, I probably wouldn't do mold stuff at the same time. Like I think you could work in different things at different times, but again, you'd want to create those products in order that people would need them. Someone said, I'm on ChatGPT right now. I love it. I'm having a hard time narrowing down to who exactly I'm speaking to. I teach website SEO and the benefits of it ranking on Google, more inquiries, and using AI to make it easier. I'm a photographer, so I naturally thought to speak to photographers, but really as all small business owners would benefit. So I think with this type of stuff, it's worth it to like start with the niched content first. So talk to photographers who want to learn SEO first. And then that takes off, you can start positioning positioning it as it to entrepreneurs, right? And like small business owners. But there's a lot of money in the niches because people know exactly who you're talking to, right? When you say, I help all small business owners, every single type out there, learn how to do SEO, like people don't connect with that, whereas as much. If you're like, I help photographers learn SEO so they can get more local clients or more traveling clients, people know exactly whether or not that is for them. So I would start with the niche down one and then branch out after if you want to. If you don't want to use your full name as your personal brand, can you use your first and middle or first and fake last name? Yeah, as long as it's like what your business is called, I think you could totally do that. Do you share your reels that you post on Instagram to Facebook? Yes, it's like automatically connected and they share. I do, on my insights do not show me how many plays I get on Facebook. I have the latest app and updates, but I'm missing some features. Yeah, the unfortunate part about social media is that not everyone has the same features dropped at the same time. Do you write your guides and slides for lives yourself, or do you use a professional who does it for you? I do it myself, and I use templates for the presentations. I can't think of the name of the company. Oh, Tonic Templates is where I get my templates from. I love them. It just makes it look super professional. I have a hard time letting things like that go because I took a few years in graphic design. I'm like very particular about things. I'm not a graphic designer, but like my brain is very particular. So when I hire people to do things like that, I end up just like redoing it, not because it's bad, but because like my brain needs something a certain way. So currently I do them all myself. What about a PDF or of helping a buyer or seller choose a real estate agent or something to help a real estate agent? I'm just drawing a blank on what I can charge for that. So if you're doing stuff with real estate, I would say get specific on what you're going to help them with. I think a freebie would be great to like how to choose a real estate agent. But with that, you need to like be careful who you're talking to. Are you wanting to help other real estate agents or are you wanting to help buyers? And like, that's who you need to talk to, right? Because if it's the same account that you're doing real estate onto, like talking to other real estate agents isn't going to bring in new clients, right? So you kind of have to decide who you're talking to first before you decide on the problem that you're going to solve. How can I get people from A to B if it's a physical result that they have to work for? So you can't get them there necessarily, force them. You have to give them the tools to get them there and then have a space where they feel comfortable sharing their wins with you. If you want to share their wins, obviously, in your marketing. Help me to focus: content creation or list building or hitting pause on my idea to finally film my digital course. I wouldn't hit pause if you're filming something that you'll need to sell. I would just find a way to like say, okay, this day I'm going to film all day. This day I'm going to post content. This day I'm going to post content about my freebie. But like give yourself one thing each day. But like if you're building a course, you should not go silent. You need to be talking about how you're creating this and you're excited to launch it. Your thoughts for shy, introverted beginner in starting personal branding. I am shy, introverted, and obviously we all used to be beginners. Just starting, sharing what you're comfortable with at first, showing up every single day, finding time every single day to show up. You'll never get better and you'll never be able to open up if you don't start. Okay. How do you know if the problem you are solving your niche is specific enough? I'm in Rich Girl Rules right now and jumped in with both feet, but I feel like it's too broad. I'm targeting branding for small businesses. I have been a creative director my whole career, so I'm knowledgeable, but technically health and wellness is my passion. Help, I'm about to get $1 million offer book. So I'd say for this, like get more specific. People don't know why they need branding, right? Your content should go into like what branding will do for them and show them like good and bad branding. Like you could even go in Canva and like create branding things and be like, this is good, this is bad, this is why you need branding. Who's a person going to book? A person with crappy branding or a person with good branding if they have to decide based on looks, right? So talking about like the benefits of branding in your content to then sell whatever it is that your digital product is. I'm a makeup artist. I would love to create something that I can help women to better their routine, skin texture improvement, suggest the products that are valuable, also create a private one-on-one class. Could this be a niche? Solving problem with skincare? And yes, absolutely. Everybody wants good skin. I would say just get specific in what your first product is going to teach them and like what problem it's going to solve. So like use gua sha to have a skinnier face, or not necessarily that exactly, but like use this to get this accomplished with it. Do you need to create a personal brand and have a bunch of videos, get a following, etc., before starting to even sell a digital product? I would to some extent. Like I said, you don't even have like 100,000 followers or 50,000 followers before you launch, but like I wouldn't like have 0 followers, get 1 follower, and then launch your digital product. Like people want to get to know you a little bit first, and you need to build up a little bit of that content first, in my opinion, but it doesn't need to like take ages to do that either. I thought since we are towards the new year, do you think a goal setting workbook would be a good idea? Something to help people stay focused in the new year. Yes, but I'd also get more specific with it, like goal setting for what, right? What are they setting goals for? Like the more specific, the better. They say not to do anything too fast or too slow on Instagram because it will mess up the algorithm. Is this true? Like changing your bio, your handle? Oh my goodness. I don't know who's saying that. Someone asked me the other day too. I like obviously don't change your handle all the time just because like your people come to your community comes to recognize you, but like if you want to change your photo and you have a new photo to change it. Don't change it every day, not because of the algorithm, but because people won't recognize you. I do not ever worry about changing my bio and upsetting the algorithm. Like I don't really think of the algorithm that too much, honestly. I think of my community and what they're going to respond to. And if like I'm not serving them with what my bio has, I don't care if it's going to mess up the algorithm. I don't believe that's true. I don't know. Like nobody knows anything for sure about Instagram, but like if your bio needs to be updated, for the love of all that's holy, update your bio. Like the algorithm's not out to get you. Like just update the bio. I think a lot of gurus say stuff like that to hook you in, and take it with a grain of salt, everything on social media. Okay, I am in Rich Girl Reels currently marketing a content checklist as my freebie. It helps online business owners audit their account and content to start making sales on social media. I've been a content creator for 1.5 years and have experienced generating millions of views, 5 figures in sales for a low ticket product on TikTok. But where should I start for my low ticket digital product? Starting to find the one problem to solve it first. So solve the first problem that people have in their business. It really can be that simple. Like the first thing that you had as your problem when you were learning all this, like that's your first product. Is the workout witch woman? Yes. She does like all these things to like release trauma and stress. I haven't started it yet, of course. I bought it and it's sitting in my inbox, but I need to do it. I've built my personal brand around how to make a personal brand. I've even made high ticket programs about this with great results for students. Nevertheless, what I'm really passionate about is acting, which I have found kind of related with UGC content, so has brought me some joy to pursue. Would you recommend me to show my acting skills around the UGC content or creating a different profile for it other than just sell educational project as a personal brand and focus on acting? I think you totally position like acting with UGC. I actually saw someone do that last summer. She has like a huge following. I can't remember her name, but like she markets herself as like an actress who's a model, like a modeling actress. And like, that's how she markets her UGC. So I think if you're passionate about that, you could totally talk about that and create content around that. If I have the redefined mom as my brand, is that broad enough? I want to help moms as they transition into new stages in life. Number one, find and rediscover passion in life as they now don't have all their life revolving around their kids. Finding personal pursuit and passion, whether it's to monetize, philanthropy, or hobbies. Good enough niche. I wouldn't like worry about it being like good enough. Are you passionate about it? Have you done the research that people want this from you? Like that is my main concern. I don't think like one niche is good and one niche is bad. I think that like if you're passionate about it and you know you can help people, you know you can market it, and you know there's a need for it, go for it. I built my personal brand around how to make a personal, oops, never mind, I just answered that one, sorry. Thinking of a niche about finding joy in living as a reluctant single person, specifically for middle-aged women who wish they were married, but digital product ideas are eluding me. Have you read the book, The Joy of Being Single? Oh, a self-love challenge, that would be fun. Market research. Yeah, I would definitely do some market research and start sharing content that's like relatable around that, right? Like that's like the first step in my opinion is like relatable content if you don't really know, and then like see what people relate more to with that type of stuff. How to get over the concern that your idea has already been done. If your idea has already been done, it literally just means there's a market for it. Nobody's going to do it the same. Don't go to their product and copy everything, but just know that like when you do market research and something's already been done, it means that like there's proof that it works. But just be careful not to like get stuck on just looking at that, because then you don't want to copy people, right? You want to do it your way and create something unique to yourself. I'm a web designer, photographer, and videographer, so a one-stop shop for all things branding and website. I work with women who run small businesses, but I'm finding it hard to come up with one product to start with. Any advice? So someone said, what about a free resource about what should be included in a web designer's checklist, then pivoting to create a digital product for how to create top-selling web designs or templates? Yep. I love that. I'd say whatever like the first problem is that you had when you got started, that's your first thing. I have so many passions that I want to help people with. I'm a successful podcaster, voice actor, and then my 9-to-5 life is all about HR, etc. I have a lazy UGC approach that works for me, but I want to start with podcasting since that is my greatest strength. Do you see any issues with me also branching out to create something for the other passions under my personal brand? Not necessarily, but I would kind of feel it out, like launch the one thing first, you know, hype it up, sell it, build that brand for a little bit, and then like feel it out if people want that from you next. You know, people that do this really well are like Jenna Kutcher and Amy Porterfield. They both like teach multiple things, but it's like under the hub of online marketing, right? So Jenna Kutcher, like her hub is online marketing, and then like all the things that she teaches are like Pinterest and Instagram, and she has like a podcast thing now, right? But like those all fall under online marketing, and that's the approach she takes to everything. We need a Rich Girl Real subscription, because at this point I'll be buying it almost every month. That's so funny. I'm not going to go into a subscription because, like I said a little bit earlier in the training, like keeping up with something for 9 months at a time makes me nervous because I have hard pregnancies, and like I'm just worried that like what if I can't maintain the level of how I want to run things, you know? So another thing to consider when you're creating digital products, like pick ones that you enjoy and that like work around your life, not the other way around. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I've provided digital marketing services to Airbnb and vacation rental owners and other companies. I'm trying to transition to more digital products and courses for this niche. Obviously, digital marketing is very broad. Any suggestions on order of digital product creation? So the first thing that they need to do is what needs to be your first product. So probably if you're doing like digital marketing for them, and like what they need to do first, social and email would probably be my first thing, just because paid marketing usually comes like after you know what works. So choose in the order that like you think they should get started with, and then create that one first. How far in advance do you promote your live trainings? Usually like 1 to 2 months before, because like I said, I like having time to sell something. I don't like having to like sell everything in 1 week. I like having an offer to sell that's new for like a month or a month and a half. But if it's a live training, you don't want it to be so far out that people are like, I don't want to buy this. This is like 2 months away, right? But you also like want time to sell the offer. Can we start with the $67 product, then do a $37, $47 one? Totally. You guys can start however you want. I personally started with lower because I wanted to under promise, over deliver big time on my first products, and kind of learn how to price things. So I felt more comfortable pricing lower first. You said to wait to launch a digital product until the new year, but my digital product is about decluttering. Do you think I should still wait? I think people want to declutter before and after Christmas heavily. It's more about people wanting to spend money on decluttering right now. I don't think people like necessarily have the time to do it right now. So maybe they're like, oh, I'll just wait till the new year. And I think decluttering would be like a huge New Year resolution thing, right? Like declutter your life in 2024. So you could, if you wanted. Like me personally, I wouldn't launch anything right now in December. I'm in the motherhood niche and I have been struggling to come up with a proper idea for a digital product that doesn't involve making money. I work from home. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a military spouse. We've moved several times throughout my husband's time in the Army. I'm learning how to cook from scratch more, but none of that stands out to me as special or amazing. And so I feel like my life is too boring to create a digital product from. Any ideas from anybody? I think, Autumn, that you're just overthinking it. I think share your journey. You don't have to be perfect at something to start selling a digital product at it. You don't have to be even an expert, right? You just need to be a few steps ahead of somebody else who wants to learn that as well. Sorry, there's like a thread of people after there. But yeah, I think you have a lot of things you could share. Right now, I would focus on like relatability content and just connecting with people to kind of see what they want from you. Cause like, I know you can do this. Yeah. What would your best advice if someone is starting their Instagram and making their first digital product? There's no community or big audience yet. So this part of asking your audience, maybe something doesn't to validate your ideas. Yeah. So if you don't have an audience yet, I wouldn't, rely on asking your audience for your research. I would rely on like TikTok and WordStream at the beginning to research things before. And then like, as you start growing, like keep the door open to ask them questions and ask for feedback. Sometimes I think that, sorry, I can't read this. Because me to do it, then why other people who are successful artists don't use digital product and actually sell, as they have a lot of following community. What do you think of this? I don't quite understand the question. Ivana, if you're still on the call, if you could just pop that down in the chat, maybe clarify a little bit for me. Okay, will we get the chat from this replay too? The chat won't be available. Most likely, I'll see if I can find a way to get it on there. It's downloaded in a way that's like really hard to read. But let me see if I can. Thoughts on bonuses. I've heard mixed things from online entrepreneurs that bonuses are the offer to get them to buy. Does this fall more in line with marketing, or do you think our digital products should include a bonus or two? I don't really focus hard on the bonuses. I focus more on like the outcome. I don't know. I just have never been like a bonus person per se. I don't know why. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I'd rather just like be like, here's what's in the product. It's going to be awesome for you than like, I get kind of annoyed when people list like 8 different bonuses and they're like, this product is worth $7,000 and you're getting it for 47. Like, I don't really love that. And I'm not saying that that's what you were going to do, but like, that's the bonus vibe that I get. So I just like to say like, maybe give them, a better price or something, as opposed to just like adding bonuses in, but you could totally test it out and see how it works for you. Like everything is trial and error, you guys just test it and see how it works. Feel a bit lost with my offers. My niche is holistic anxiety, healing, recovery, and have my main product, the ultimate anxiety healing guide for beginners. Is this too vague? I think a little bit. I would be more specific, like heal your anxiety with XYZ. I think that would be better. Yeah, someone said the ultimate sounds overwhelming to me. Yeah, I would definitely be like, heal your anxiety with this, and then teach them how to do it with something specifically. When would you use Loom versus Zoom? Zoom is for live trainings. Loom is for like recording something by yourself. That is not a live training. It's just going to be like going in a video course or something. I'm thinking of doing an email subscription where I share weekly dinner ideas and include recipes and a grocery list. Thoughts on how to do that? Does Stan collect monthly payments for subscriptions? I'd probably do the emails through Flowdesk. Yes, Stan can, but then you'd have to have it connected to your Flowdesk to send the emails. And then you'd have to set up using Zapier, something that would like remove them from the list if they're no longer part of the subscription. Like if they cancel, you need to have a Zap that says, hey, this person canceled, please remove them, don't charge their card anymore, and don't send them these emails anymore. But you could definitely do that with Stan and Flowdesk. I'm a meditation teacher and mental wellness coach. The passion is in the meditation. I have a freebie, 6 ways to find your calm. I will be live teaching a how to meditate workshop in February. I will record that over 3 days. I teach it. I'm trying to think of a digital product that could be a meditation starter kit. Not sure how to do that. I think for meditation, it would be something, again, like using meditation to heal, to get out of this, to like, why are they using meditation, and getting more specific with that. How to make the contents clickable. Oh, yeah, that one's in Canva. Yep, so you would just like do that in Canva. You like highlight the whole thing, and then there's like a little button that pops up over it that shows like a link, and then you add the link right there. And I always underline and bold it so that it's like clear that it's clickable, right? Because if something's not underlined, people probably don't assume that it's clickable. If you want to use videos, so you just link to YouTube or upload a video, an actual document. Not sure if I can do that with a Google Doc. You should be able to with a Google Doc as well. You just link the link there. I'm a dental nurse and have been for 10 years. I'm really into UGC. That's how I came across you, and I love creating UGC content, but I can't shake my dental nurse skills, and I don't know where to start with a digital product to start, or how to build a personal brand around this. I mean, the two don't really go together, so I would just pick one and move forward with it. You could still use your dental nurse skills to work part-time and have a personal brand around UGC, right? And like show how you're a dental nurse, and you also do UGC like as like a fun little part of who you are. But I don't think you could necessarily like connect the two product-wise. Brand new creator here. My niche is using freebies to get sales leads and grow an email list for nurturing. Excited to launch my digital product soon. That's amazing. I'm doing everything on my own right now, but would love to get to the point where I have help for little tasks that take me away from creating. Can you tell me more about your process? Where did you go? I hired my sister as my VA. But I would just recommend like finding people you really trust and training them well. You can't really expect people to like perform well if you don't train them well. I was a house manager for years. I trained like nannies for the family that I worked for. I trained my replacement when I moved. It's all about finding someone who is willing to learn. I'm much more inclined to hire someone that's like willing and excited to learn something new, as opposed to like hiring an expert who like doesn't care. But I don't really have much to say else on that because I hired my sister. My husband helps with my Pinterest. I keep it all within the family over here. But yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I had more to say on that. Do you use the same template for all your products, like the Canva outline for each PDF ebook? Let's say, yep, I use the same one for my trainings too. If you guys have done Rich Girl Reels and Rich Girl Stories, you'll notice like the branding is the same on these. Like I use the same outline for each one. And I just go through and obviously update with all the information. I try to make them look like slightly different because I don't want it to like feel like the exact same training, but like the outline is the same and I like it. It's cohesive for my brain. I know like how I'm inputting the information each time. How do you choose which audience to niche to when you know your offer could help all of them to some degree? Topic is helping people with their presentation public speaking skills. This could benefit people in corporate as well as entrepreneurs. So I'm trying to decide between the two, or do I just market to people regardless of their occupation? I think with this particular thing, it would probably be better to market to one, because that is a very like specific thing and not all entrepreneurs would need that type of thing. So I'd probably pick one and then like get specific within that one as well. Could you talk more about mini course? How many hours, pricing? I don't go into anything saying this is going to be this many hours and this is going to be this many things. I go into it with what do I need to get across to them? What videos do they need? What do they not need? And then pricing is, again, I do that after I've created it and I take into account what I want for my other products, right? When I'm pricing something, I'm not just like, well, I'm just going to price this. No, I'm thinking like, okay, what's going to be the next product? And again, I want no brainer pricing. I want people to feel like they are getting like the best deal and they're so excited and they invested in themselves, but also like, wow, this was only this much money and this is the return I got when I'm pricing things like that. Okay, so Sarah said, I think my product suite would be freebie 25 outdoor activities for busy families, car essentials for on-the-go families. $27 offer would be beginner's guide to getting your young family outside. $67 with 30-day outdoor winter challenge. And then if it's popular, create one for each season. I love it. Sarah, I think you got to just like run with them and test them out and see how they do. And I think that would be great. I love it. I think for the $27 offer, like the $27 seems very no-brainer for something like that. So I'm partnered with Monat and I'm in Rich Girl Reels right now. I created a freebie with 10 easy to implement tips that they could start ASAP to start healing their hair without being a customer of mine. Eventually, I would love for them to be a customer. I'm promoting my freebie or hair quiz in the current challenge, but I'm having a hard time thinking of what I could offer in a paid digital product that people would value. Any tips on creating digital products while also being part of a network marketing company? Do they go hand in hand or should I focus on one or the other? I would definitely make it go hand in hand, but it's a little tricky. I have a few students that do both and like it is a little bit tricky because like you're kind of selling in both areas. So you kind of have to like pick and choose which one to do. But I have some students where their digital product goes with what they're selling and others where it's like completely different, but it makes sense that they're sharing both. So I think at the end of the day, just like pick something first, maybe that is related so that it wouldn't take you as long to create. And then if that doesn't perform well, try something else after that. But it's always going to be a little bit harder when you have a split audience. So if you're selling social selling stuff and a digital product, like it's always going to be a little bit harder. Any tips or advice on how to get people to actually finish and use your digital product? I'd love to have people reach out with how things are going so I have social proof to share, but I feel like people purchase and then don't always use it. So this is where having repetition in your marketing really works because people are hearing over and over again, like, oh, I need to be doing this. And then they're reminded, oh crap, I already bought this. I need to apply this, right? So that's something that comes with time and like inviting people to give you reviews and inviting them to update you. Is it advisable to diversify my personal brand across various passions such as podcasting, voice acting, and HR? Or should I focus on one area? Oh, I think I already got to that question. Like I said before, I think focus on one to start, and then you can add other things in based on what people say. Someone said your offers are so good. I purchased one of them twice on accident. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. I got a screenshot that one. That is so funny. You guys are the best. Okay. As you add more offers, will you continue the offer suite or will it eventually get to be too much? I'm curious because I have a lot of little offers right now. So ideally, I'd like to never have more than like 5 offers at a time, which is why sometimes I just launch things and then like I don't offer it again. But since I sell on social media and not like on a website with like a shop with a bunch of products, I would like to keep it under a smaller amount at all times. I've noticed that my motherhood reels that are very emotional and give connection about motherhood get a ton of views, but if I post anything else, my views are really low. I want to capitalize on those high views, but I have no idea what type of digital product I could make for that type of content. The reels that get a lot of views is usually about just being a mom, struggling as a mom, but knowing it's normal, having dark times as a new mom, the joyous wonders of being a mom. Someone said something about affirmation cards. So with things like that, relatability content is always going to perform well. That doesn't mean you need to like build a whole brand around that. But one example I have for that, one of my students, she's is a mom and she has 2 under 2. She created a guide on having 2 kids under 2 and like how to cope with that. So there's lots of things you could go into. You could just kind of have to like see what people want based off of that content to support them. How do you figure out what your audience's problems are? I'm in the motherhood niche and I feel like I know what my problems are and how to solve them, but how to figure out what others need help with. Talk about your problems and see which ones they resonate with. Like when you do stories that are opening up about your problems, I can guarantee people respond to those, saying like, oh my gosh, me too, right? Okay, I followed what you said and used TikTok and WordStream and all the keywords were low, but what I want my niche to be is my passion experience. How would I move forward? My niche is travel, but more specifically traveling with ADHD. Someone else said, I follow a lot of ADHD accounts on Instagram. Look at their comment section and see what people are asking. I love that. How do you feel about starting with master resale rights products? I'm not a huge fan. I think a lot of people are kind of positioning themselves as experts on something and that they don't have experience in. And I don't really love that. But if you want to do master resale rights and you love it, like good for you, right? I'm never going to like hate on something. I wouldn't do it. And I don't advise people to do it because I think longevity wise, if you want to buy a master resale rights course and learn from it, absolutely go for it. But like selling something that you don't have experience in, it's going to be harder to sell. Like it just feels a lot harder for you, in my opinion. Someone said, side note to that, if you're wanting to share information that makes it look like people are asking, you can answer your own question box and then share the info that way. 100%. If people aren't asking the questions that you want to, ask the questions that you want them to ask and answer them. Like 100%, everyone has done it. I do it. I don't do it as much now just because like my question boxes get questions, but they did not in the beginning. And I 100% was asking myself my own questions. Okay, should I have a multiple Instagram accounts for different niches or just keep one that has multiple? I teach dance and initially that's what my account was for, but then I started getting into wanting to do UGC and digital products. I would separate, those are very different and it's going to be really hard to grow if you have like such different topics. Okay, someone said their question got skipped, but I know I definitely answered that one. But if you missed it, you'll definitely, Matexia, I don't know how to say your name. I'm probably butchering that. Sorry. I did answer that question earlier. So if you, it'll definitely be in the replay for that one. Do you have Flowdesk work with Stan and ManyChat? If so, is it via Zapier? Yes, Zapier is how you would connect all of those things. Will you be sharing your income from this live training, please? I love your transparency. It's so inspiring, gives hope to those starting out. I'd have to go in and calculate it because I sold it at like a pre-sale price and then after it went up in price. But I think about 600 people signed up when it was the $37 price. I think you guys are so sweet. I love sharing transparency around income. I think more people should do it. I love hearing like what's possible. I don't know. I love it. That's literally like one of the reasons I was brave enough to like start creating and selling a digital product, because I saw someone sharing her income and I like had no idea that that was even possible, right? Like when you hear people, they're like, oh yeah, I make 100K a month from a course. I'm like, there's no way, right? And then like your brain like normalizes it and you're like, dude, yeah, I could do that 100%. Like when I launched this, my Black Friday goal was to sell 1,000 spots in 4 days. Like that's a lot of spots in 4 days. A lot of spots. And like, I didn't hit it, but like my brain was like, you can do this. You could totally do that. Right. And like, the more that like you see things being done and like see that it's possible, the more your brain believes that it is possible, which I love. Okay, a few more questions. My digital product will be based on helping mothers navigate day to day when feeling overwhelmed and the everyday things they can do to enjoy motherhood again. I want to especially focus on neurodivergent mothers or mothers of neurodivergent children because I have ADHD and I'm autistic and I have 2 autistic children, but is that too niche specific? I don't think so. I think there's more money in the niches, in my opinion, because people know exactly that like you are talking to them when you are that niche specific. So I love that. I think 100% share that. Would you say that niches of eating real food on a budget, meal plans, cooking from scratch, and simple homemaking systems decluttering can all healthy fit under honest motherhood category, or should I just pick one? I think they could, but start with one and go really hard on that one and like see how people respond to that before you go into everything else, because that is a lot of things. And I think you could sell them like throughout the year, but you definitely need to separate them when you are first doing it. We started our homeschooling journey with Rich Girl Real Challenge and started seeing results, but we quickly felt uncomfortable putting them out there and we would hate ourselves if they ever think we use them for profit. So we canceled the idea immediately, back to square one. I think you could 100%, Laura, still share homeschooling without like sharing your children specifically. Like I know lots of accounts that like share things around kids and like the faces of the children are never shown. It's literally like maybe from behind or things like what you're doing for them, but there's 100% a way to do that without like using your kids for it, in my opinion. Do you have a specific structure to your one-on-ones to ensure your students get the most of them? So I think I mentioned this in the call, but like I open it up with, hey, this is your hour. Ask me any questions you want. My sales page is also very clear that like it's an hour and they get to ask me questions. It is not like me pulling it out of them. I think also when you have a higher priced one-on-one, that works really well because people are coming with questions. They're like ready. The people who paid $4.97 for my one-on-ones were way different than the people who paid $97, and not in a bad way, but the $4.97 people were like, I got my list. This is everything we're going through. I need to screen share this. I want this to be answered. Like they are ready to go. And it is like some of the most beneficial hours ever when it is a little bit higher price because they are showing up ready. Yes, there's a replay link. Okay, I wanted to niche down to help parents help parents gain confidence in homeschooling, letting them know that you don't have to be highly educated and have everything figured out to homeschool. There are other options than being a full-time teacher parent. Do you think that's something that would sell? I feel like some parents shy away from homeschooling because they think they need to be educated, but there are so many other avenues to help them do that, and some are free. Yeah, I think I'd probably focus more on like just teaching them how to homeschool. Like that's what I gravitate for. My husband just bought a digital product yesterday on how to homeschool because we're going to homeschool my daughter. But I think I'd probably focus on like teaching them how to do it. Personally, that's not like a struggle. Like I don't worry, like I'm not educated enough to teach her. I am all for, I like the unschooling aspect. So like, that's not a problem I resonate with, but maybe it is what other people resonate with. I'm new at selling digital products online, but I've been creating digital products and courses for universities for over 10 years and teaching professors how to create and market their digital products. I'm having a hard time figuring out what to begin to post on Instagram since I'm new, but also have a lot of experience. What do you suggest I focus on sharing online before I start selling to my audience to show that I'm providing value? This is what I'm stuck. Your story, your journey. Talk about the courses that you've created for other professors. Do green screens where you're like, dude, this was the professor I taught for, and I taught him how to teach this course, and here's what I told him to put in it. Like, show that you have this expertise by talking about the journey and taking us through that. I want to do an annual travel planner. Should I launch January 1st or just launch the week between Xmas and New Year? I'd probably wait for the New Year. I feel like people are going to be enjoying their family during Christmas and the New Year. Well, you guys are so sweet. Okay. I'm doing everything on my own right now. Oops, sorry. I already got to that one. Okay, to be more clear on my real estate question, I'm tired of running around showing homes and then it not going anywhere. So I think I would like to attract clients all over the US and help them find a great agent where they are at and send out referrals and get paid that way from referring agents I sent them to. Would I attract the buyers or sellers with a freebie, giving them advice on picking an agent and get them to then message me with info or refer out? So I would assume that you would attract the buyers and then be able to refer them to people to get the referral, if I understood that correctly. What was the name of the site that you got your templates? Tonic Templates is where I got them. They have really good social media ones too. I barely have a voice. My toddler's sitting outside the door trying not to melt down. I'm very impressed with her right now. I had a call this morning too, so I have been like not with her all day. So I am very, very impressed. Okay. There are famous artists that have a lot of following and community. Why they don't sell a digital product? I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't really know about digital products. Like some people literally don't know, and some people don't want to change how they make money. Like if you're an artist and you have a big following and your paintings sell out, like why would you want to create a digital product, right? I think people want to create them when they're like sick of what they're doing and they want a different way to do it. But yeah, if I'm someone famous and a lot of following, don't do it. Why me? Like I don't have a lot to compare, but thinking about it, that can be big. Exactly. People are just making money in different ways. I wouldn't think twice about that. My broad category is home and DIY. My niche is decluttering and organizing. I would love thoughts on my potential product suite. I have a room by room decluttering checklist as a freebie. Then I wrote a digital book, The Beginner's Guide to Decluttering and Organizing Your Home, not launched yet. I can't decide on pricing for that. 37 is full of content and I share my own unique method for decluttering that I've never seen anywhere else before. I worry 37 is too much, but then I also worry that it's not enough. And then I'm thinking about a masterclass where I go really in depth in my specific system that helps people work through mental blocks and declutter painlessly. I can't decide if I should do this class live or offer a Slack channel for a week, or if it should be a masterclass that is always available in pre-recorded form. Okay, so for the first freebie, love it. For the second product, I think $37 is great for the initial launch. For the third one, I would do a launch first where it's live and see how it goes. Like see how the live training goes. And if you're like, didn't really love that, didn't really love the recording, like try a different format. Like when you create something one way, you are not married to keeping it that way forever. So I think you're overthinking it. I would just go for that one. For the second one, I'd probably do like a $67 live training. So start with a 37 and like slowly build your product suite out. But someone said they would buy this digital book and checklist. So someone asked if you need a website when you're starting out. No, if you're selling on social media, I would say start with just Stan. I didn't start with a website. I started with only Stan. I'm a Fiverr top rated seller making spokesperson videos in UGC. My gig got a Fiverr's Choice tag and it helps a lot in getting orders. I'm not sure my niche could be people who want to be successful on Fiverr or niche UGC content creators, helping them build up their inbound sourcing. Both can help them generate income, but I couldn't figure out which one should pick up to give my offer a higher chance to be evergreen. I would probably teach people how to get UGC jobs on Fiverr. I like the specifics of that. And I like that like you have the credibility as someone who's doing well on Fiverr, but then you're getting specific with what they are doing on Fiverr. Oh, you guys are so sweet. How strict are you with research? I'm not super duper strict with anything, honestly. I'm always open to having my mind changed, always. But I will say, oops, sorry, it moved. I just did a quick word stream search and it was not great. And I was totally not expecting that. Does that mean my idea isn't profitable? The idea helping therapists transition to a non-clinical job while still being able to use their degree. So I think that this is definitely something that, like, if you know therapists need this, then like you should run with it and go for it. Especially if like that is your passion in life. Like I said, take the research with a grain of salt. Okay, question 1. Sorry, I meant the contents page on Canva. You said the content page was clickable to take the reader to the page. How do I do this? Will Google be able to answer this for me? So when you're in Canva and you're on your table of contents, you're gonna like select the word that you want to link. And then when you right click, right above that, there's like this little link button that pops up on Canva. You'll click that, and then the link for what you're linking to, you'll need to copy that, paste it into there. And then after that, I always bold it and underline it because I want people to know that it's clickable, and they probably won't if it's not bolded and underlined. Do you have an advice for doing pre-sales for a product you want to create but launch at a later date? I'm thinking of creating a mini course style with a Facebook challenge group, but would like to have a start in January and my course isn't created yet. I know you do this with live trainings, but I want a bite-sized chunks for my mini course mini video. Absolutely. Pre-selling is very similar to how I do this. You create the sales page, you hype it up, and then you listen to what people are saying. Does it include this? And if it's something that you know you can deliver an offer on, yes, it does include that, right? That's one of the fun parts about pre-sales is you're like, all these things that you're like, dang, I didn't know that people wanted that. You can add it in, right? One example of that in Rich Girl Reels, I was like, everybody knows how to find trending audios. Everybody. The amount of DMs I got, people asking me, does this teach you how to find your trending audio? So you bet your bottom dollar, I spent 30 seconds in that training teaching people how to find trending audios, right? Then the people who were advanced were like, oh, we already know this, but I prefaced it with, hey, there are a few beginner things in here. It's about 5 minutes of the training. If it's not relevant to you, don't worry. The rest of the training is not like this. There's just some people that really wanted this information. And like, it went a long way for people who didn't know how to do that. Okay, my broad category is home and DIY. Oops, somebody answered that one, so it popped back up. Okay, I think we got to all the questions. Wow, you guys are amazing for sticking on for 4 hours. This is the longest Q&A I've ever done. Thank you so much for joining. No, Autumn, I did it. My daughter hasn't lost her mind, which is amazing, a miracle in itself. But you guys are amazing. I live for these live trainings. I love them and these Q&As. The replay will be out within 48 hours. And then you will also get the PDF with a little bit more on each product type and like my tips and things for each style of digital product. So yeah, you guys are amazing. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. And I will see you all in Rich Girl emails. No, just kidding. I'll see you guys all on social media. Bye, guys. I hope you all heard my little toddler just say, she's done. Maybe not, but it was the cutest thing ever. Okay, bye, guys.